Welcome to this conclave on accelerating research for Ayurveda. I am Padmin Buch and I represent Ahmedabad Management Association today. I am a member of Executive Committee. Of course, myself and Langai ji, we are on the same committee, Sunil ji, correct. We'll have a fully loaded program today, a well laid out program. Of course, Mr. Langai ji is the main brain behind that, I would say. So, to start with, I would like to invite all the four speakers and of course Mr. Dangaij. Mr. Dangaij, can you take up your seat, please? I would like to invite Dr. Vishwa Mohan Katoch, one of the speakers. તાળીઓ વગાડવાની છૂટ છે બાય ધ વે. ગુજરાતી જાણો છો ને બધા? હા. I would like to invite Dr. A. Raghu. He is the advisor, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. I would like to invite Dr. Narendra Bhatt, the consultant Ayurveda, research and industry, and of course author of Researching Research for Ayurvedic Journey, which is going to be released today. Okay. Okay, fine. One person is remaining. Mr. Suresh Patankar, please. Thank you. I would like to invite myself also to be on the stage. But anyway, that's not important. I got a pleasant duty to welcome you all to this research and Ayurvedic field. Of course, Mr. Dangaij and all of you are very eminent scholars of this field. But Ayurvedic, I was just talking to Sunil Bhai Parekh. Ayurvedic is one domain in our country, which is our own, almost you can say. But lot of things have been done. Lot of things could have been done and can be done. હમણાં લંચમાં હું વાત કરતો, I was talking to a couple of ladies. Ayurveda is a Vignan. It's a science. The moment આપણે આયુર્વેદને વિજ્ઞાન કે સાયન્સ તરીકે જોઈએ ને તો ખ્યાલ આવશે કે that is why it requires research. This is accelerating research. So research તો થાય છે. Some kind of research is. Thank you. હા મારી પ્લેટ તો આવી, હું વિચારતો નેમ પ્લેટ આવતી જ નથી ક્યારની. Anyway, research is taking place, but we want to accelerate it, first thing. Second thing, when we accelerate, are we going in the right direction or not? So that is the second thing. And third thing is that after doing research, what is the logical conclusion? આપણે કયા સ્ટેજ પર ત્યાં પહોંચીએ કે જેથી ultimately it has to go to the people, the society. વર્લ્ડમાં આંકડા તો બહુ બધા ફરે છે. આયુર્વેદનું બહુ મોટું માર્કેટ છે. Small countries like Brazil are doing excellent in the field of Ayurvedic and herbal. We can do, and that's what this, I'm sure, this conference is going to take care of that. And everybody, including myself, will be keen to see what we are deliberating. I think there was already one brainstorming session which has taken place. So I'm happy that things are happening, and મંથન પછી એમાં અમૃત સરસ નિકળશે એવી મને ખાતરી છે. That is what we are looking for. But I really believe, I have been in this field, I'm in the field of pharma, and I was telling that when we used to study BPharm in LM College of Pharmacy, we had a subject called pharmacognosy, which was basically based on Ayurvedic only, and Professor Malti Chauhan was our professor. She later on became the dean and principal of Jamnagar Ayurvedic University. So it is there from the beginning. And much more can be done, and I'm sure today's deliberation will give the direction of what can be done, how it can be done, and in what time frame. Government is all for encouraging Ayurvedic. Okay. જામનગર યુનિવર્સિટીમાં આખું સેન્ટર બનાવવાની, WHO સેન્ટર બનાવવાની 2 વર્ષ પહેલાં એનાઉન્સમેન્ટ બી થયું છે. ઓનરેબલ પ્રાઇમ મિનિસ્ટર અને જ્યારે WHOના હેડ આવ્યા હતા ત્યારે થયેલું જ છે. So that is already there. What can be done is to take up fast and see that is in the right direction. So welcome all the four eminent speakers, and of course Mr. Dangai ji jo hamare part of hai. May I like to greet them on behalf of AMA. Okay, thank you. And I now invite Mr. Dangaich to take over this. Thank you.
Dignitaries on the dais and all my friends from Ahmedabad and AMA. It's my delight to today organize first a round table in the morning and now a conclave on accelerating research for Ayurveda. All of you are aware about Ayurveda. I don't have to tell you that it is our ancient health science. Ayurveda means, Ayur means life and Veda means science. So it's a complete, you may say, solution for keeping ourselves well during our lifetime and to also take care of illnesses if they ever strike us. I happen to be National Vice President of Arogya Bharati, which is an outfit of Rashtriya Swayam Sevak Sangh. And Arogya Bharati works with twin objectives. The first objective is that we should keep individual, family, community and country free of diseases. And the second objective is if illness or disease strikes anybody, it should be brought under control and the health must be restored in pathy-agnostic manner in the shortest possible time. You are all very well aware about the importance that Ayush is right now gaining and getting from all the policymakers. Ayush, which is standing for, as you know, Ayurveda, Yoga, Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy and Sovarigpa, is, as a matter of fact, a battery of various health knowledges and health sciences that are supposed to be complementing allopathy or the conventional system of medicine. In the year 1995, for the first time, Government of India at that particular moment created a separate department within Ministry of Health, which was called Indian System of Medicine and Health. In the year 2014, when Modi ji came into power, he created a separate ministry for Ayush. And the government has been looking at the potential of Ayush for overall health of the people of this country and has been working towards that. In the year 2017, National Health Policy was announced by Government of India, in which health was divided in 5 components: promotive, preventive, curative, rehabilitative and palliative. Believe me or not, government thought that Ayush, and in particular Ayurveda, will be able to take care of the first 2 and last 2. It was felt that curative part is the strong domain of allopathy, so they'll be taking care of the curative part, but the promotive, preventive and the other rehabilitative and obviously palliative will be taken better care of by Ayush. And this is what the government was trying to do and has been trying to do. Recently you would have seen that we are all troubled by a variety of diseases that we can't tackle, and that is where integrative health has now come into vogue. In the month of January 2026, to be precise, on the 12th of January, we had a very interesting round table which was organized by Arogya Bharati in association with American Association of Physicians of Indian origin. They have around 1 lakh members and they want to now explore how can Ayurveda or how can Ayush be integrated for better results, for better health care and holistic health care of the people of the US. And that is when they also came up with the idea that we need to probably bring Ayurveda and Ayush under a better scientific vigor. Very recently, that is in the month of June, Niti Aayog, along with Ayush Ministry, has come up with a roadmap which talks of strategic vision for Ayurveda for the globe. So how can we leverage the knowledge that is there in Ayurveda. And I am very delighted to tell you that Dr. V.M. Katoch was one of the people guiding Niti Aayog and Government of India. In all the endeavors, there are a few things which are emerging. Number one, Ayurveda lacks so-called evidence. This may be a myth or this may be a truth. But the fact is that Ayurveda, which was created maybe 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 years ago, had some scientific basis, had some rational basis. But that particular thing has to be put in the current language and current context and in current the communication format so that it appeals to the people at large. It is in this context that Arogya Bharati and the other organizations, Innovative Thought Forum, NASA, LMCP, AIC, all of us got together to see that we must look at the way research for Ayurveda can be accelerated. The current situation is not very happy, and there is a need to rethink, there is a need to look at all pros and cons and then evolve a mechanism by which Ayurveda research can be accelerated so that it is patient-centric, it appeals to the consumers or the customers, it creates markets and it creates businesses so that all the stakeholders are happy. And this is the reason we thought that we should have a discussion first and then the conclave. This was also motivated by a book which we'll be releasing today, Research for Ayurveda, written by Dr. Budd. He, as a matter of fact, gave me this thought that why not we have a kind of conclave or book launch. And I said, we will try to probably expand the scope of this particular deliberation or discussion. So we are not having it today in that context. But most importantly, I must tell you that AMA has always supported such initiatives. Almost 15 years back, I was curating a program called New Paradigm in Health, Illness to Wellness and Beyond. So in 2011, 12, 13, AMA was talking about wellness, not only illness. And we had around 20, 25 such, discussions, presentations and seminars in which leading, you may say, healthcare providers, including Baba Ramdev, had also come. So AMA gladly thought and encouraged this, and Dr. Prerak Shah, who has been supporting all the activities in Ayurveda, also came forward. And that is how, so we have gathered here today to look at the current context, challenges, difficulties, constraints, and how can we overcome them for, first of all, better health of our own people, and then for better health of the globe. Ayurveda or Ayush can become a medium by which we can extend our influence, our business all over the world, because health comes always before everything else. Dharmat kam mokshanam, arogya moolam uttamam. So arogya or health comes before everything else. So all the four pursuits are, as a matter of fact, superseded by arogya. So with that, I would like to stop and request our expert speakers to come and share their thoughts. The first person I would like to invite you is a phenomenal personality, and I call him as a Maharshi in the health research or healthcare. Dr. Vishwa Mohan Katoch does not need introduction in the country. He is, as a matter of fact, the first and the former Secretary of Department of Health Research that was created by the earlier government. And after spending many decades in ICMR, he was Director General of ICMR, Indian Council of Medical Research, which is supposed to be the foremost body for all the new researches that are there in the healthcare field. He is a distinguished medical scientist, microbiologist with pioneering contribution all over the world. He has published more than 350 papers in internationally renowned journals. He has been instrumental in strengthening India's health research infrastructure, created a whole lot of, laboratories, BSL and, say, all, the kinds of laboratories that you see in the country, where, as a matter of fact, motivated by him and led by him. He is recipient of many national and international awards. And last but not the least, he is a lover of integrative healthcare, and moreover, he is a genuine scientist because he is always working with an open mind. He is not having any biases. As long as you are able to explain to him rationally and logically, he is always game to accept it. So it's our as I would say, say pleasure and delight that you have agreed to come at a short notice with our invitation, accepting our invitation. And I would like to request you now to share your wisdom and thoughts on the subject. Let me tell you, he knows about Ayurveda as much as the Ayurvedic physicians know. Thank you very much.
धन्यवाद दंगिया साहब, धन्यवाद। पहले तो इस अपॉर्चुनिटी के लिए, मतलब इस स्केल पे आप करेंगे ये नहीं मैंने सोचा था। मैं सोच रहा एक राउंड टेबल डिस्कशन होगी, अपने व्यूज़ देंगे और चल देंगे, पर काफ़ी सोचने का मौका मिला आज एक्चुअली। पहले तो जो भूमिका आपने बनाई कि सी हमारी इंटीग्रेशन ऑफ द आयुष साइंसेज इनटू द मेन स्ट्रीम, अब ये आइडिया शुरू बहुत सालों से चल रहा है एक्चुअली। इवन राइट 1925 के कांग्रेस अधिवेशन के टाइम से था, उस वक्त ही पास हुआ था ये। आज़ादी के बाद भी बहुत कोशिश की गई, स्ट्रक्चर्स बनाई गई, को लोकेशन ऑफ द सेंटर्स किया गया, लेकिन हम लोग एक दूसरे से इंटीग्रेट नहीं हो पाए एंड वो ऑप्टिमली यूटिलाइज भी नहीं कर पाए। तो आई थिंक कई चीज़ें दिखती हैं, जिन लोगों ने पॉलिसी में इन्वेस्ट किया वो उनको फ्रस्ट्रेशन भी दिखती है। हम लोगों में ये प्राइड भी है कि हमारी हेरिटेज है और जेन्युइन हेरिटेज है ये, कोई इसमें बहुत सारी चीज़ें आज भी रिप्रोड्यूसिबल हैं एक्चुअली। तो वो उसको दैट डजंट गेट द प्राइम प्लेस, प्राइम जहाँ पे उसकी जगह चाहिए उसको वो नहीं मिलती है, तो बुरा लगता है। बहुत जेन्युइन लोगों को तो बुरा लगता है डेफिनेटली। लेकिन क्वेश्चन ये है कि व्हाट वी डू नाउ। हम इतना करके राष्ट्रवाद के भाषण या इमोशंस इन्हीं बातों पे अटक जाएं, इट इज़ नॉट गोइंग टू लीड टू एनी चेंज एक्चुअली। वो एक कॉन्फ्रेंस के बाद दूसरी, उसके बाद थर्ड, ऐसे चलता रहेगा। मेरा जो इसका जो 2008 में जो मैं दिल्ली मूव किया, उस वक्त पहले मैंने बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं सुना था, पर कुछ लोग जैसे प्रोफेसर बेलियाथन वगैरह थे, उनके मैं भाषण सुनता था, उनकी किताबें पढ़ रखी थी। तो आई हैड अ वेरी ऑब्जेक्टिव ओपन व्यू ऑफ व्हाट हैज़ हैपेंड पर्टिकुलरली इन द आयुर्वेदा एक्चुअली, पर्टिकुलर द इंडियन साइंसेस। तो बाद में अपॉर्चुनिटी मिलती गई, मैं जब पहुँचा वहाँ पर तो हालत देखी मैंने। ऑलरेडी ये गोल्डन ट्राइंगल भी एग्जिस्ट करता था, जिसमें ICMR गाइडलाइन बनाती थी, आयुष के लोग वर सपोज टू डू साइंस। अब जब पहली मीटिंग हुई 2008 के एंड में या 2009 के बिगिनिंग में, आई डिस्कवर्ड देयर वाज नो गोल्ड इन इट, तो पहली मीटिंग थी, उसमें तीनों साइड के CSIR वाले भी थे, हम भी थे और सेक्रेटरी आयुष भी थी। तो मैंने देखा ये तो ग्राउंड पे तो कुछ भी नहीं है, ये इन्होंने कुछ किया ही नहीं है किसी ने भी। उन्होंने अपने ड्राफ्ट बना के ICMR ने बाय बाय कर दी, CSIR ने अपना गोल्ड जेब से निकाला नहीं और आयुष वाले ले नहीं पाए। So no, then I discovered, and in the very first meeting I said, madam, there is no Ayush, there is no gold in it. तो CSIR को बुरा लगे, लेकिन सवाल है कि आप लोगों ने कुछ नहीं किया, सिंबॉलिक एक्सरसाइज है ये। तो आज का जो पल है ये सोचने का कि, और इस जगह से किया जा रहा जो मैनेजमेंट की जगह है। क्वेश्चन इज वेरी सिंपल, वी हैव नॉट मैनेज्ड इट, we have not managed the policy, we have not managed the processes, and we have not managed the targets also. तभी तो कुछ है ही नहीं आगे। धीरे धीरे things have started changing, they changed, I think all successive governments did it. लेकिन इस गवर्नमेंट के आने के बाद certainly एक जो दंगिया साहब कह रहे थे, एक आइडेंटिटी दी, एक पुश दिया, और कहने ग्राउंड पे भी दिया। मुझे 2014 की वो कॉन्फ्रेंस जो थी, इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस दिल्ली में योगा की हुई, और प्रधानमंत्री उसमें फाइनल डे पे आए थे। तो उन्होंने बोला कि देखो भैया, ये हिमालय हमारे पास भी है, हिमालय चाइना के पास भी है, वो इतना आगे क्यों? और उन्होंने उसके बाद उसके संविधान भी दिए उसी में, उनकी स्पीच के। उन्होंने कहा कि हमारे इतने इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं, हर इंस्टीट्यूशन से पर साइंटिस्ट पर फैकल्टी इतने पेपर निकलने चाहिए। साइंस की जो साइंस की डोमिनेशन चाइना की रिकॉर्ड पे है। आज चाइना अमेरिका से भी कई जगह टीबी इंडियन एरिया में उनसे भी आगे निकल चुका। आप उनका कोई एरिया डाल के देखिए तो एलोपैथी में भी वो कई यूरोपियन अमेरिकन कंट्री से कहीं आगे है एक्चुअली चाइना, और चाइनीज़ मेडिसिन में तो आगे है ही है। तो सवाल है कि उनकी कोई क्वालिटीज़ होंगी ना, तभी तो आगे हैं वो, ठीक है। और वो तो हम तो चाइनीज़ टॉयज़ पे मजाक बनाते हैं, उनका गन्स पे मजाक बनाते हैं, लेकिन सच्चाई ये नहीं है। चाइना एक मजबूत सशक्त कंट्री है साइंस में भी, ये बात मान के चलिए आप। तो हम क्यों नहीं हैं, ये प्रधानमंत्री का क्वेश्चन था। प्रधानमंत्री ने समाधान भी दिया इनको सबको, भैया आप जो कर रहे हो उसका पेपर छापो। और सच्चाई यही है, मैं आपको बताऊं, जैसे आगे के टाइम में जो मैंने देखा उसके बाद मुझे मौके मिले रिव्यू करने के भी, तो इन्होंने खूब काम किया हुआ। आयुष के जो CCRAS और जो जितने काउंसिल्स हैं इनके अंडर, इन्होंने भी काम किए हुए इनके सेंटर में भी। तो दिक्कतें थी इनके पास कि उनके पास आदमी नहीं थे, कुल 100 साइंटिस्ट पूरे कंट्री के लिए, और मंत्री जी उनको बिजी रखते थे मेला ऑर्गेनाइज करने में, एक आयुष मेला यहाँ करो, एक आयुष मेला वहाँ करो। तो ना तो बेचारों को काम करने का मौका, पेशेंट देखो, और पेपर लिखने का टाइम नहीं किसी के पास। तो there is a fault of the issues also, the policy also, but those things have changed actually. Numbers have increased, very bright people have been recruited. तो चीज़ें बदली हैं उसके बाद, काफ़ी अच्छी तरह से बदली हैं। और कोटेचा साहब के आने के, प्रोफेसर कोटेचा के इंडिपेंडेंट फर्स्ट सेक्रेटरी बनने के, जो आयुष सिस्टम से आए, नॉन IAS सेक्रेटरी बन के आए, वो बदलाव लाए हैं, परमानेंट बदलाव लाए हैं। आज हमारे पास 15 सेंटर्स इंटीग्रेटेड मेडिसिन के भी हैं, और रियलिटी में दे आर वर्किंग ऑन द जॉइंट इश्यूज आल्सो। जो निमहंस ने एग्जांपल न्यूरोलॉजी में सेटअप किया, साइकेट्री में सेटअप किया, वो एग्जांपल कार्डियोलॉजी में भी, वो एग्जांपल आपके दूसरे मस्कुलर डिसऑर्डर्स में भी, नंबर ऑफ जगह, एम्स ले लो, जामिया हमदर्द ले लो आप, 50 CSIR के इंस्टीट्यूशन है, मेडिकल इंस्टीट्यूशन है, मणिपाल में है, सब जगह है ये। सो वी हैव 15 सेंटर्स working together on a joint issues which are funded by Ayush, funded by DBT, funded by the CSIR or ICMR or DHR. तो वो डॉक्टर रघु बड़े सेटिस्फैक्ट्री फेज पे हैं, जहाँ की दिखता है कि प्रभाव है सामने। हमारी जो इन्हीं के पीरियड में DGHS से गाइडलाइंस आई हैं, जिसमें कि जो मस्कुलोस्केलेटल डिसऑर्डर्स को डायग्नोज करने की एल्गोरिथम, उनको ट्रीट करने की एल्गोरिथम दी गई है। So today what we are talking in that one language actually, भाई ये बीमारी है, किसी भी पद्धति से डायग्नोज करो, और यहाँ तक एक ट्रीट कर सकता तो यहाँ पे दूसरे के पास जाएगा। तो अब हमारे पास, जैसे हमें ये भी पता है कि हमारे पास किन बीमारियों के लिए लोग आते हैं एक्चुअली, वो भी पता है आज। वो आज से नहीं पता, वो 2010 से डाटा है हमारे पास, और 2 पब्लिकेशंस भी हैं उसके ऊपर। लेकिन वो पब्लिकेशन एक में छपता है 10 से 18 तक, एक में छपता है 18 से 22 तक। कहते भाई इनके 12 साल में के 2 ही पेपर छपेंगे। तो जो प्रधानमंत्री चाहते थे वो हमने नहीं किया रियलिटी में। वो प्रधानमंत्री तो हमारे पेपर लिखेंगे नहीं। जब हमारे इतने आयुर्वेदा के इंस्टीट्यूशन है, इतने हमारी इंस्टीट्यूशन है, पेपर लिखना तो उनका काम है। अगर मान लो CCR मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ आयुष के पास एक्सपर्ट नहीं होंगे, नेचुरली उनका मैनेजमेंट में टाइम जाता है, तो एकेडमिशियन क्या कर रहे हैं। तो आज जो इशू खड़ा होता है एक्सेलरेट करना है, तो वो पहले तो हम इनर्शिया, जिसमें कि एकेडमिया सोया पड़ा है, रेदर देन गवर्नमेंट के अंदर इतने फॉल्ट निकाल देंगे हम, ये गड़बड़, ये गड़बड़, ये गड़बड़, ये गड़बड़, लेकिन भाई अपना गड़बड़ नहीं बताएंगे मैंने क्या किया। बहुतों ने कोशिश भी की, उनकी कोशिश फेल हो गई, उनको फ्रस्ट्रेशन उस बात की है। मैं उनकी वेदना समझता हूँ, उनका मेरा वो समर्थन भी है उनके साथ, लेकिन दैट इज़ वन फैक्टर। मोस्ट ऑफ अदर पीपल हैव नॉट डन दैट। तो पहला बात इनर्शिया तोड़ने का है कि हमें वो सारा डेटा छपना चाहिए कि मान लो ऑस्टियोआर्थराइटिस में ये चीज़ें हुई और किस किस से ठीक हो गई। उसमें भी आपके बहुत सारे रूमेटॉइड डिसऑर्डर्स हैं जिनमें आयुर्वेदा भी काम नहीं करता, सिद्धा काम करता है। तो वो सिद्धा की बड़ी उसकी सीरीज़ है उनके पास, थाउजेंड्स की हैं, तो पेपर छपने चाहिए, सीक्वेंसली छपने चाहिए। तो आई थिंक पब्लिकेशंस के और उनकी दवाइयाँ ऐतिहासिक हैं सारी। They are not using the steroids. They are not bogus. They are done by the scientific people actually. There's a data on that. So I think the first priority remains they have to publish on those, all of them. And publish rigorously. Observational studies itself. इस साल में 200 पेशेंट मैंने देखे, उसमें ये रिजल्ट आए उसके, और किस में काम नहीं किया, किस में ये स्टैंड अलोन काफ़ी है, किस में ये पहले शुरू में आए और ठीक हो गए। अब एक्चुअली ये तो मोस्ट क्रॉनिक डिसऑर्डर्स के हमें पता है कि किसमें कौन कौन जाता है किसके पास। हमें ये भी अच्छा, जब ये बात ये नीति आयोग की बात दंगे सब कर रहे थे, उससे पहले 2023 में इसी गवर्नमेंट ने इंटीग्रेटेड मेडिसिन के लिए नीति आयोग ने भी पॉलिसी डॉक्यूमेंट क्रिएट किया। तो उस वक्त मैंने एनालाइज किया, आई वाज टेलिंग दैट इज अप टू अगस्त ऑफ 2023 देयर आर मोर देन 700 रैंडम कंट्रोल ट्रायल्स डन इन आयुष सिस्टम्स, 232 एट दैट टाइम इन आयुर्वेदा, 300 समथिंग प्लस इन योगा। अब योगा को भी चमकाने वाले प्रधानमंत्री हैं, हमने तो नहीं चमकाया ना। वो अगर वो उसको इंटरनेशनल लेवल पे नहीं करवा, उसको देते तवज्जो, तो आज वो उतना नहीं चमक रहा होता। और मैं उस वक्त मैं सचिव था, तो मैं उन मीटिंगों में भी था जब ये उन्होंने डिसाइड किया। प्रधानमंत्री डिसाइड किया, भाई देखो मैं तो गुजराती आदमी हूँ, तो मैं ये बताऊँ इसमें धंधा कितना है, पहले कितने लोग हेल्दी रहेंगे, कितनों का धंधा चलेगा, कितनों का यू नो दैट बिकॉज एवरीथिंग मेक्स बिजनेस एक्चुअली। हेल्दी पीपल, मनी, and so many people getting a professional accomplishment, that applies to everything. And he did it. What we do, you can't expect, again I repeat it, you can't expect any prime minister to do everything for you for every time actually. तो अल्टीमेटली जो आगे की जो स्टोरी आज की जो हम क्रिएट कर रहे हैं, जिसकी एनालिसिस है, वो साथ पहली बात है कि हमने ये सेल करना है कि कितनी चीज़ों में कौन सी दवाइयाँ चल रही हैं ना। उसके बाद का नेक्स्ट मार्केट आती है कि क्या दवाइयाँ वो स्टैंडर्ड बन रही हैं, क्या बन के आज बहुत से लोगों ने आज भी राइज किए, क्या उसके लिए गार्डन अवेलेबल है जहाँ साइंस उनकी हो सके, जहाँ से वो उनका स्टैंडर्ड प्रोडक्ट मिल सकें, क्या उनके लिए कोई, क्या उनके करने के तरीकों में मॉडिफिकेशन चाहिए, क्या उनकी जीनोमिक्स या प्रोटोमिक्स भी साथ करनी है, पाथवे भी ढूंढने हैं। तो साइंस भी उन्हीं को करो ना जिसको मार्केट करना है, जिसको लोगों को अप्लाई करना है। मे बी यू मे डू ए समथिंग वेरी डिफरेंट विच इज़ ए फॉर ए डिफिकल्ट डिजीज यू कांट ट्रीट विद। हमारे बहुत सारे जेनेटिक डिसऑर्डर्स हैं। अब जेनेटिक डिसऑर्डर कई बार वो 50 साल की उम्र तक मैनिफेस्ट नहीं करते, सडनली पता लगा 51 ईयर्स में डिस्ट्रॉफी आ गई, तो भाई 50 साल कैसे ठीक रहा वो? 50 साल या तो दूसरे जीन्स कंपनसेट कर रहे थे, बट मोर देन दैट एपिजेनेटिक्स इज इंपॉर्टेंट। वो एपिजेनेटिक्स क्या है? वो आपके क्या खान पान है, आप क्या करते हो, दैट इज वो आपके जीन्स को ऑन ऑफ रखती है दिशा में। माँ के पेट में माँ क्या सफ़र करती है वो बच्चे पे प्रभाव होता है, क्लियरली नोन है। वो अभिमन्यु का एग्जाम्पल लो या बाकी एग्जाम्पल लो, अगर माँ दुखी है या माँ शराबी है या माँ किसी और सिगरेट पीती है, बच्चे के ऊपर उसका असर पड़ता है, हर किसी को पता है, उसके न्यूट्रिशन का असर पड़ता है। तो सवाल पैदा होता है कि जब वहाँ से एपिजीनोम हमारा चेंज होता है, तो अगर हमारी हमें वो डाइटरी हैबिट्स पता हैं जो आयुर्वेदा के जरिए पता है, क्योंकि आयुर्वेद वाज मोर फोकस्ड ऑन द मेटाबॉलिज्म एंड न्यूट्रिशन एक्चुअली। तो अगर आपको पता है कि इससे रह के हम इतने साल हेल्दी रह सकते हैं, तो जो 50 साल तक हेल्दी रहेगा वो 70 साल तक क्यों नहीं हेल्दी रह जाएगा? तो उसकी डिस्ट्रॉफी के लिए जीन थेरेपी की क्यों जरूरत पड़ेगी? आज हम जीन थेरेपी के लिए सोचते हैं कितने करोड़ की जीन थेरेपी लगाएंगे, जो उसका प्रिवेंटिव समाधान जो दंगयाल साहब भी कह रहे थे वो हमारे आयुर्वेदा में शायद संभव हो पॉसिबल एक्चुअली। अगर है अगर डॉक्यूमेंट में तो ट्राई करके देखो उसी को। आपको पता लगा इस फैमिली में डिस्ट्रॉफीज आ रही हैं, जो लोग पैरालाइज होकर पड़े हुए हैं, उनको न्यूरो मस्कुलर डिसऑर्डर्स आ रहे हैं, और उनको अगर ये दी जाती तो ये प्रिवेंट हो जाता, ये इतना एक्सटेंड हो जाता। हमारे पदंकर साहब से कल हम बात रास्ते में बात एयरपोर्ट से शुरू हो गए बात करने, तो CKD की बात, क्रॉनिक किडनी डिजीज़ की बात आई। करोड़ों लोग हैं उसके जिनकी डायलिसिस अगर एक्सटेंड हो जाती है या जिनकी अर्ली स्टेज डिजीज़ लेट स्टेज में पहुंचती ही नहीं है, तो आई थिंक देयर वेज टू इंट्रोड्यूस एक्चुअली। तो प्रायोरिटीज़ पहले देखिए अपने क्लिनिकल प्रैक्टिस में कौन कौन से गोल, पहले तो वो जिनके लिए लोग आपके पास आते हैं और ठीक होते हैं, तो दैट इज़ द फर्स्ट टू बी पुश्ड। नंबर 2 वो समस्याएं जिसमें कि एलोपैथी काम नहीं कर सकती। अच्छा, बड़ी क्लियर है, डिजेनरेटिव डिसऑर्डर्स, ऑटोइम्यून डिसऑर्डर्स, और ये सभी प्रॉब्लम्स में एलोपैथी हैज़ ए निग्लिजिबल रोल एक्चुअली। एलोपैथी डज ए ग्रेट जॉब, वहाँ से उनको एंटीबायोटिक मिल जाते हैं, इट डज ए ग्रेट जॉब ऑन सर्जरी चाहिए, ठीक है, तो उनमें उनके कोई कंपैरिजन नहीं है। लेकिन इन डिसऑर्डर्स में एलोपैथी ऐसे अपना हाथ मारती रहती है, स्टीरॉयड खिलाती रहती है, दवाइयाँ खिलाती रहती है, कुछ बच गया, मर गया। अच्छा, तो सवाल है वहाँ पे हमारा रोल है एक्चुअली। Let's do that actually, and that do in a very significant way, prove it कि ये शुरू में करोगे तो ये होगा, बाद में करोगे तो ये करेगा। अब ये 300 प्लस पेपर्स मैं योगा को जो कह रहा था वो सर्जन्स के उसमें अधिकांश पेपर्स हैं। किसी ने दिखाया कि ये योगा किया, सर्जरी के साथ किया तो उसकी हॉस्पिटल स्टे इतनी कम हो गई, ये किया तो उसमें इन्फेक्शन इतनी गिर गई। अच्छा, सो दीज आर दे आर वर्किंग टुगेदर, दोनों साइंस हैं एक्चुअली। ये नहीं कि वो अंग्रेजी साइंस है, वो हिंदी साइंस है, वो तो कुछ नहीं है, साइंस तो साइंस है। तो आई थिंक नाउ दिस इज द टाइम, द सेकंड स्टेप इज टू मूव ऑन जहाँ कम्प्लीमेंटेरिटी साफ है, और कम्प्लीमेंटेरिटी से देन वी बिकम ए हेल्दियर एंड हेल्दियर पीपल एक्चुअली। और प्रिवेंटिव एस्पेक्ट का तो दंगेया साहब ने कह दिया कि उन मुद्दों में आई थिंक वी कैन बी फार अहेड ऑफ एवरीबॉडी, और उन चीज़ों पे हमने खुद ही चूज़ करने कि किन किन चीज़ों पे हमारी जो डेवलपमेंटल इश्यूज अफेक्टेड हो रहे हैं। अब देखिए, अब आपके माल न्यूट्रिशन से लोग बहुत सारे, मान लो पहले लगता था मर जाते थे, अरे मरे नहीं तो वो माल न्यूट्रिशन को, उसका ब्रेन स्टंटेड है, उसकी बॉडी स्टंटेड है। अच्छा, तो क्या कैन वी डू समथिंग टू रियली बेटर लाइफ फॉर दोज पीपल? कैन वी रीएक्टिवेट द थिंग्स जो दूसरी साइंस नहीं कर पाती? तो हेल्दी चाइल्ड, हेल्दी मदर, हेल्दी चाइल्ड, हेल्दी ग्रोथ, ये सारे एस्पेक्ट्स प्रिवेंशन के हैं। और दूसरे जेनेटिक डिसऑर्डर्स में कैन बी डिले दी ऑनसेट, कैन बी डिले दी एक्चुअली द प्रोग्रेस ऑफ द डिजीज एक्चुअली। तो ये बड़े क्लियर कट से टारगेट्स हैं सारे। और पेलिएटिव मेडिसिन, जेनेटिक मेडिसिन में, उनमें तो सब में स्कोप है उसके अंदर। तो आई थिंक जो हम अब सभी का हमारा जो चिंतन यही चीज़ का चाहिए कि वी हैव टू रियली चूज एरियाज जिसमें इट मेक्स ए सेंस टू कम्पीट। और फिर उसके बाद साइंस की एक ही भाषा चाहिए, दैट मीन्स कि अगर बात उसके डायग्नोसिस के तरीके के बाद भी सहमति चाहिए, उसके बाद उसके मैकेनिज्म देखने में भी सहमति चाहिए। अगर हम बायोकेमिकल पाथवे देख रहे हैं, इम्यूनोलॉजिकल पाथवे देख रहे हैं, तो कोई दूसरी बात नहीं कर रहे कि वो दूसरे धर्म के है इसलिए हम नहीं कर रहे, वो उसका कोई धर्म नहीं है, साइंस का कोई धर्म नहीं है, साइंस एक है। वो हमारी अगर आयुर्वेदा तो हमारी धरोहर है, हमारी भारत समाज की एक्चुअली। That's, you don't say that is done by saying one person or one segment of people. No, it's not that way actually. It belongs to everybody. So I think we have to think, very in a very objective fashion कि where we make a difference. Accelerate करना तो कौन सी चीज़ को accelerate करना है? I think that's something very important. और मेरे व्यू में साहब पहली बात तो है कि large number of publications on the clinical aspects of what we are doing. और उसमें गैप देखिए, उसमें स्ट्रेंथ देखिए, उसके खूब सारे पेपर आ जाएं, फिर उसके बाद कंसेंसस स्टेटमेंट्स छापिए उनकी, उसी के ऊपर धंधा है। इंडस्ट्री भी आएगी तभी प्रोड्यूस करने। अभी इंडस्ट्री बोलती है मैं काय को प्रोड्यूस करूं, कौन करेगा? अच्छा, गवर्नमेंट कहती है कि मैं का सब काय को पैसा लगाऊं, किस पर्पज़ के लिए लगाऊं? सी, मनी कैन नॉट कम इन ए डिफ्यूज मैनर, नाइदर इज सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द पब्लिक नॉर ए सपोर्ट फ्रॉम द गवर्नमेंट कैन नॉट बी डिफ्यूज। क्योंकि मैं ये देखता हूँ कि पैसा लगाने से कुछ नहीं होता। मैंने अपने ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में भी करके देख लिया था। एक बार मैंने सोचा पहले साल में इतने सारे प्रोजेक्ट पेंडिंग हैं, इनमें सब में पैसा लगा दो, सब इंस्टीट्यूशन को इतने इतने करोड़ बांट दो, कुछ नहीं हुआ। 3 साल के बाद परफॉर्मेंस और नीचे गई, क्योंकि वो बंदे जो सारे के सारे वो अपनी एयर कंडीशन लगाने में लग गए, ठीक है, अपनी लैब्स लगाने में लग गए। हमें कोई कहते हैं मैंने इतने सेंटर डेवलप किए, तो सेंटर डेवलपमेंट क्या होता है? बढ़िया अच्छा सा कमरा है, अच्छी लेबॉर्ट्री, एसी लैब है, अरे कितनों ने यूज़ की, बात तो वो है ना एक्चुअली, और किस पर्पज़ का ये यूज़ की, तो वो मतलब है। See, the money spending on abstract things, I think is really neither desirable, वो गद्दारी है देश के साथ। और पहली बात यह है कि investments have to come, they will come only when you give the target actually। ये करेंगे हम इतने दिन के अंदर। इससे पहले भी दंगेया साहब कह रहे थे, बात हुई शो आ रही थी जब ऑप्थेल्मोलॉजी के डॉक्टर परवीन भी कर रहे थे। मान लो आपके आई की वेरी सिंपल डिजीज़ के लिए वो चीज़ें अगर आपको अवेलेबल हैं तो हर कोई यूज़ करेगा, क्यों नहीं करेगा? एक्चुअली वी बिलीव इन आवर सेल्फ, लार्ज स्केल डेटा चाहिए उसके ऊपर। पर आई थिंक इशू सारा क्या पैदा होता है कि बहुत सी फ्रंट हैं स्ट्रेंथन करने के लिए। आप जब प्रोफेसर भट्ट की किताबों को देखोगे, उनकी किताब मैंने पढ़ने का मौका मिला मुझे सब कुछ, तो उसमें क्या दिखता है कि हमारे अंदर बहुत सारी चीज़ें करने को हैं, और वो बहुत सारी चीज़ें बड़े एमिनेंट लोग हर वॉक ऑफ लाइफ से बोलते भी हैं, एकेडमिशियन भी बोलते हैं, आपके जो प्रैक्टिस करने वाले भी बोलते हैं, वो चीज़ें हमें पता है एक्चुअली, लेकिन वो चीज़ें किताबों में लिखने के लिए नहीं है। दे आर देयर फॉर सोल्यूशंस, बट सोल्यूशन में तब इन्वेस्ट करोगे जब आपका कुछ गोल होगा एक्चुअली, व्हाट यू वांट टू डू एक्चुअली। सो आई थिंक यू हैव टू स्ट्रेंथन फर्स्ट व्हाट यू आर डूइंग, देन यू हैव टू स्ट्रेंथन इन टर्म्स ऑफ इस कम्प्लीमेंटेशन कि ये आपका क्या, अगर हेल्दी लाइफ के लिए, प्रिवेंशन के लिए, इम्प्रूवमेंट के लिए, तो एक इशू हो गया। सेकंड चीज़ है कि दूसरी एलोपैथी के साथ कहाँ आर्गुमेंट करता है, ये वो एक डेफिनेट सेकंड इशू है जो विच इज़ इम्पॉर्टेंट, हीलिंग प्रोसेस के ऊपर, रिकरेंसेस के ऊपर। मतलब मैं पतंग साहब के भाषण का हिस्सा नहीं लेना चाहता, लेकिन इनको पता है कि ये कुछ सर्जरी करते हैं तो उसके बाद कईयों में स्ट्रक्चर रह जाता है, बाद में कोई पार्टिकुलर प्रोसीजर के बाद 20% में रह गया। तो अगर वो कोई दवाई जो इन्होंने भी कुछ ट्राई किए हैं, अगर वो करने से अगर वो वाली रिकरेंस नहीं हुई, हीलिंग क्विक हो गई, हीलिंग फास्ट हो गई, दैट अप्लाइज नॉट ओनली टू हिज स्पेशलिटी, दैट अप्लाइज टू एवरी सर्जिकल स्पेशलिटी. तो यू हैव डन द जॉब. सो दैट मीन्स कि ये साथ चलेंगे और जब सर्जरी के साथ ये चलेगा. सो आई थिंक यू हैव टू थिंक ऑफ द कम्प्लीमेंटेशन आल्सो. सो इंटीग्रेटेड हेल्थ जिसकी पॉलिसी 2024 में 23 में बन गई थी, 24 के बाद सरकार के विचाराधीन है उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने के. मैं होप करता हूँ कि जल्दी होगी. वो साइंस साइड पे हो गई. जो 15 सेंटर आ गए, दैट इज मीन्स गवर्नमेंट हैज़ मूव्ड ऑलरेडी. सो दैट मीन्स इतनी इन्वेस्टमेंट हो गई. नाउ इट विल होपफुली कम इन द साइड ऑफ इन टर्म्स ऑफ व्हाट यू डू ऑन द प्रैक्टिकल साइड. क्योंकि उसके अंदर अपने 10 साल के अंदर दो साल के अंदर इतनी जॉइंट गाइडलाइंस आनी थी जिसका डेटा अवेलेबल है. जो मैं आपको 700 से ज़्यादा ट्रायल कह रहे थे वो अवेलेबल हैं, RCTs अवेलेबल हैं. तो उनकी रिकमेंडेशन आ जानी चाहिए, वो आ जाएंगी. उसके बाद फिर लेकिन फिर भी पाथ एक दिन में सॉल्व होने वाला नहीं है. इट हैज़ टू बी कंसिस्टेंट, इट हैज़ टू बी बैक्ड बाई ए हार्ड डेटा. आई थिंक विद a minimum money all these clinical experiences outcomes can be published. इसके ऊपर कोई साला पैसा नहीं चाहिए. ज़्यादा पैसा जहाँ चाहिए वो किसी को इम्प्रूव करने के लिए न्यू डेवलपमेंट करनी है, जिसकी उसको रीटेस्ट करना है. लेकिन जो हमारे पास है उसको स्टैंडर्डाइज ढंग से बेचना, लोगों तक उपलब्ध कराना, उसकी पब्लिकेशंस करना हाई क्वालिटी, उसके लिए कुछ नहीं चाहिए, प्रतिबद्धता चाहिए. और मैं अपने कमेंट्स को एंड करूँगा इसी के साथ. टू एक्सेलरेट वी नीड ओनली कमिटमेंट. वी नो द टारगेट्स.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Katoch, for your inspiring and motivating speech and remarks. And that's a way to go forward, because we always think that money and funds, that is needed. Commitment, your dedication, that as a matter of fact comes first, and the rest of the things follow. Now we have Dr. A. Raghu, who's advisor, Ayurveda, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India. And he is a leader in public health and Ayush drug regulation. He has had 26 years of experience in Ayurveda, healthcare policy and international collaborations. He has played a pivotal role in developing key initiatives of Government of India, including the Ayush Mission, Ayushman Arogya Mandir guidelines. There are guidelines now for Ayushman Arogya Mandir based on Ayush and public health standards. He represents India on a global platform such as the WHO. He has been, of course, collaborating with various other, various other facets, various other platforms of Government of India. And since, he has also worked as DDG of DGHS, he knows how to integrate the two. So we would like to hear Dr. Raghu, who is right now the most important person in the Ministry of Ayush, along with Dr. Rajesh or Vaidya Rajesh Kotecha. Dr. Raghu.
Thank you, Dengait ji, for that kind remarks. Respected VM Kadol sir, former DG ICMR and Secretary DHR, Dr. Suresh Patankar, Executive President, Arogya Bharati and CMD ACE Hospital, Dr. Narendra Bhattji, eminent industrialist and Ayurveda researcher, and Patmin Mushji, and all other Ayurveda lovers and Ayurveda fraternity, Nasya, the students and the youth of Ayurveda, who is going to bear the torch for the future Ayurveda. When I was invited to this program, at that time, because Dengai ji से मैं पहले भी बात करते रहते हैं, particularly his favorite subject हुआ preventive and promotive care, कैसे आयुष में implement करेंगे, particularly आयुष्मान आरोग्य मंदिर के बारे में हमने काफ़ी चर्चा किया था. तो उसी के बेसिस पर उन्होंने जब बताया था एक brainstorming session we are going to organize, मैंने सोचा just like any other seminar or workshop, just like एक monotonous discussion होगा, speech होगा, तो लेकिन आज एक राउंड टेबल कॉन्फ्रेंस जब हमने किया था, मैंने रियलाइज़ किया because after the 10 to 20 years actually, very the real reflection of how medical systems beyond their individual fragmentation, how they can come together. So generally, Vaidya Samuho Nisamshayagaranam, Charaka is mentions. So here, the Vaidya Samuha represents the various systems of medicines and their experts. If they are openly talked together, then we can resolve any issues. It is not like that issues are created by the man itself. Nobody else actually. So that is what even Kadol Sabi Bataya, the ultimately what we require, not the funds, resources or any other technical inputs. It is only the commitment. Commit from the excellent brains of our country. So if you see last 1 decade, how the Ayurveda sector has been developed. And it will be a tremendous thing to ponder over how it was there before that actually. Not only by the creation of the ministry, but whatever the impetus that we have seen in the field, in abroad, along with yoga and other systems, even Ayurveda has given its tremendous impact in the ground, no doubt on that actually. For example, a lot of studies have been reported on the entire Ayurveda sector actually. One study recently, it is going to be published now. Generally we thought that Ayush is only a minuscule of the entire ecosystem. It is not like that. The latest study says that around 61 billion of entire value chain is on Ayush in the globe actually. So it is on, contrary to the popular belief that 1%, 2% may be Ayush, it is actually around 10% of the entire traditional medical systems. So that itself is very a clear vision for us to how to where to lead our Ayurveda systems of medicines. So this may include the service sector, this may include the products, whatever the manufacturing sector, this may include even education, teaching, capacity building, everything. But even in that context also, I think the collective segments of the Ayush, what is represented today in our country or globally, it is actually tremendous. With that baseline, if we work together, I think nothing can stop us from making that the 2047 our vision for India. So on that ground, where we are now standing as far as the research front is concerned. For example, as you may be knowing that we have created a separate research councils under the Ministry of Ayush. Before that, even before Ministry of Ayush established, the research councils were there. Initially it was Central Council for Research in Indian System of Medicine. Thereafter it has been bifurcated into various systems of medicines, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, Homeopathy and Yoga Naturopathy. So as far as CCRIS is concerned, they have been, Kadol Sahab already mentioned, pehle kya karta tha, because even though they were trying to do with hundreds of researchers and they were given different kinds of tasks, including the IEC program, outreach activities, camps, etc. So the core focus area is many a time were left out actually. But after the induction of many of the workforce into the research system, and also interdisciplinary workforce are also inducted into the research council, a lot of changes has happened as far as in the approaches in which the research council is working. For example, the intramural research outcome is also now is thoroughly reviewed actually. Similarly, whatever the extramural research program being implemented by the Ministry of Ayush is also appropriately strengthened by the research council. So all these aspects shows that there are certain priority areas which are actually defined by the whatever the scientific advisory committees and scientific advisory groups suggested or recommended, and based on that they have tried to put their resources. And recently, Government of India also taking a conscious decision to make collaborative research a very key focus area. Based on that, the National Ayush programs also try to imbibe that. And Ayush ICMR integrated research is one of the key initiatives that ministry has taken up. Under that, 4 aims, that is AIMS New Delhi, AIMS Jodhpur, AIMS Nagpur, and AIMS Rishikesh, has been entrusted with different specific disease conditions and to make the integrated treatment, integrated research protocol, as well as to continue that research activities. So that activities are now, it is going in a full swing. In addition to that, we are also thinking, along with the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, to already, as you may be knowing, that most of the new aims created in the country, there is an Ayush units or Ayush departments are working actually. But now there is an attempt to make it full-fledged academic departments with all the, just like the National Commission of Institute of Medicine, whatever their regulations, based on that, some integrated teaching departments who can associate with the AIMS faculty and conduct the collaborative research. So that thought process is also going on. We hope that this will be also going to be culminated. And as already mentioned, that so many RCTs have been already specifically already published under the Ayurveda system alone. And CCRIS has already documented in its Ayush research portal more than 43,000 studies actually. Out of these studies, if you ask me what are the level of evidence, the level of evidence may obviously vary, because whatever the studies which have been happened in the country has been tried to collate and make a research portal. Now, what we are supposed to do, as an generally enough materials, initial materials are available. Based on these leads, whether we can make very concrete, very specific recommendations to the country so that appropriate policy decisions has been taken, and we can include many of these products. Say, initially can we target into 5 to 10 products that can be brought into the national public health programs. Similarly, can we do into essential drug list? So now we are also thinking that actually whatever the specific research products made by the CCRIS to introduce into the essential drug list, which is notified by the Ministry of Ayush, so that at least all the state government, state Ayush hospitals and dispensaries are able to avail whatever the medicines, the benefits which is actually produced by the CCRIS as a research outcome. So this translational value of this, whatever the research outcome, that is very eagerly awaited by the public. Without that, no research can be mentioned as it is complete. So these are the activities that we want to still continue. And Kadau Sahab also mentioned that integrated research policy and the integrated whatever the action plan, because even though I don't know whether we can call it as a policy, because integrated research action plan that ministry has already, along with the Nidhi Aayog and other these technical committees, that research action plan is actively pursued. On that basis, actually, many of the herbs within next 2 to 5 years, many herbs, international standard, that herbs entire documentation and a dossier is to be submitted. So similarly, integrated treatment protocol, that is also part of that actually. So Directorate General of Health Services, under that there is an Ayush vertical was created in the year 2022. After that creation, actually, what that vertical has done so far 2-3 years. One is the preparation of the standard treatment guidelines. Earlier also standard treatment guidelines were there. But what is the speciality of this one, that there is a peer reviewed this editing of this, whatever the guidelines prepared. There is a national level consultation, there is a national level technical committee, and even some pilot testing was also happened once it is actually drafted. And based on that, the structured STGs formed for the musculoskeletal disorders, metabolic disorders, now the dermatological disorders. The third one is dermatological disorders is also going to come. So the speciality of these treatment guidelines are, this will give a first-hand information not only for the Ayush practitioners, it will give a very first-hand information to the allopathy practitioners who want to know about the Ayush systems of medicine, Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani and homeopathy, and yoga. Yoga is integrated to all these STGs. So, very specific manner, it is mentioned that in what stage one system of medicine is supposed to refer. So, you know that it is not easy to say that if 10 practitioners are there, 10 practitioners have more than 20 views about at what time we will refer the cases to other system of medicine. Somehow, with the consensus method, there is a methodology, what we call the Delphi methodology, and other methodologies are available. With the consensus method, actually, generally, these referral criteria is also framed, and even red flag signs is also very part of these standard treatment guidelines. So, a lot of efforts have been conducted as far as this research, preparation of the research guidelines are concerned, and we have conducted the national level training program. This cascading training program also conducted in the Central Health Education Bureau, and based on that, the states were also requested to conduct this training program. We also requested the national commissions, both NCISM and NCH, to widely circulate these guidelines into the teaching institutions, so that at least our younger generation should be able to acquaint with these guidelines, so that initially when a practitioner, after going from the college, he should not be confused on the what kind of practice he can provide to the community. So, as far as STGs are concerned, in that way, we would like to follow it up, but then this is also evolving. That means, based on the field level observation, based on the comments of the technical experts, this will be further reviewed, and needful, adequate revisions will be made on that standard treatment guidelines also. Similarly, as far as the specific collaborative researchers are concerned, during our roundtable discussions, we had a lot of issues as far as the regulatory guidelines are concerned, actually. What we would like to say that as far as Ministry of Ayush is concerned, the Drugs and Cosmetic Act 1940 and the rules thereunder, under that there is as we all know that there is a separate chapter, chapter 4A. We also understand that a lot of new advancements in terms of technology, new advancements in terms of various regulatory provisions are already happened, and now it is a time to imbibe the modern scientific knowledge into our traditional medical system, so that it can be appropriately dilated based on the principles of the Ayurveda. So on that ground, the revision of this Drugs and Cosmetic Act and rules are also happening, and even the GMP guidelines, good manufacturing practices guidelines, also now the revised draft is going to be published, actually. So these on the regulatory front, that is while happening, there are certain concerns regarding this the nomenclature of whether this our herbs are actually drug or it is a food supplement, or so what we are suggesting that whatever the main the therapeutic activity of a particular herb, based on that Ayurveda clearly defined what is a Ayurvedic drug. And there are certain drugs, there is a contour of these such herbs are little bit interchangeable in terms of their usage in diet as a dietary supplement. So based on that, we have suggested to the even for the FSSI that certain herbs should be considered purely as medicines. Certain herbs should be considered as simultaneously a herb as well as therapeutic food as well as therapeutic agent. Certain herbs can be considered purely as a dietary substance. So in that way, that categorization is very essential. Similarly, even Ayurveda Ahar, this is a new category which is so far untapped potential. That has been clearly classified, and its enabling provisions has been already been made by the Ministry of Ayush through FSSAI actually. So all these initiative, and in order to have a technical support, we also suggested that some kind of technical support can be given by the Ministry of Ayush to implement these guidelines by the FSSAI. So ultimately, the research front, as far as Ayurveda is concerned, what we are now facing, as you may be knowing that many of the herbs, for example, ashwagandha is actually challenged in the globally for its what you call the liver toxicity or some kind of toxicity, or based on certain so-called studies. So we have effectively contended that, and so far our results are very good, and we say that whenever some manufacturer is actually using these popular herbs for altogether in a wrong way, and whichever plant part which is not supposed to be used, and if it is taken for the product formulation and it is exporting, so that may have some kind of side effect. That does not mean that whatever the traditional usage of our herbal plants should not be considered as for any kind of untoward toxicity. So based on that, I think these countries are now revisiting whatever their guidelines, and accordingly some changes we are expecting on that. So what I again postulate that considering all this, we should have a very comprehensive dossiers as far as our herbs are concerned. At least 10 to 50 popularly used herbs can we have a very comprehensive dossiers actually. Many of the industries already exporting, that we understand, but they might have certain dossiers also. But if we can collect all these dossiers and make into a very comprehensive dossiers, so that internationally we can claim that these are the Ayurveda specific dossiers, starting from raw material standards to ultimately the product specification. These are the comprehensive dossiers we have. So based on that, if we are actually approaching to the international community, I don't think there won't be any problem for accepting even not only our herbs. I am not speaking only in terms of herbs, even for the system of medicines. For system of medicines to accept, there should be a very holistic approach that we have to meet, that the ministry is actively pursuing with that. So not only by bilateral memorandum of understanding with the different countries, we are also creating Ayush chairs in different universities. One example I can tell this. In Germany, there is from Charité University, our research council has done excellent research program on the osteoarthritis. So that is actually, that kind of initiative will definitely make a boost to the entire Ayush research ecosystem. Similarly, the recently concluded the free trade area, agreements actually. So that free trade agreements very clearly specifically mention about the Ayush, particularly the New Zealand FTA, Oman FTA, European Union FTA. So even there is a possibility for the engagement of our Ayush practitioners into these foreign countries, particularly in the New Zealand FTA. So these are the voluminous work that speaks itself where the country is leading towards for the future in the context of the Ayurveda. So once again, I thank the organizers as far as the conducting this specific program on the accelerating research in Ayurveda, and we think that being one of the important limb for any medical system to thrive, this research should be given utmost priority. And as Charaga mentioned, parikshayastu prayojanam pratipatti jnanam. So that pratipatti jnanam can be happened only when the researchers are open-hearted. They share their knowledge, and that shared knowledge will ultimately translate it into the public good. So I hope by such interactions, and will give a very clear-cut policy directions for the government to act, and based on that, definitely the future of Ayurveda will be bright. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Raghu, for enlightening us about various initiatives that the Government of India and Ministry of Ayush is taking. We were really not aware about many of those things, and I'm sure Ahmedabad people or Ahmedabad crowd or Ahmedabad audience will be definitely enriched with this knowledge and try to probably take up one or maybe more of them. Next expert speaker is a very dear friend of mine from Arogya Bharati, my senior colleague. He is the executive president of Arogya Bharati, Dr. Suresh Patankar. As a matter of fact, he is a very unique person. He is a famous urologist with many records, say, to his credit. But after having done urology, he has pursued Ayurveda Acharya, and now he is a full-fledged Ayurveda Acharya. Ace Hospitals group that is running in Pune is offering integrative solution with Ayurveda, or say with the modern, or a combination of them. Dr. Patankar is also an yoga acharya, so he is also able to bring that particular aspect of the scientific knowledge in his practice. He is a wonderful academician. He was a professor to begin with. He became a clinician. After that, say he became a researcher. He has got several patents to his credit, by the way. And he is above all, I would say, a very, very fine individual serving the society through Arogya Bharati and other platforms. He has received many national and international awards and has published hundreds of papers on the work that he is doing. He is a great leader, and he has been able to motivate many Ayurvedic experts to join his endeavor. So we would like to hear Dr. Suresh Patankar, who, as I said, is a true representative of what integration of the different medicinal sciences and knowledges can mean for the society. Dr. Suresh Patankar.
I start my speech with the blessings of God Dhanvantari, the God of medicine, incarnation of Bhagavan Vishnu. It was a pleasure to be in the Karnavati again with the invitation of my close friend Dangai ji. And in country they talk about Gujarat model. Everybody wants to follow Gujarat model, and I'm sure this accelerating research will also Gujarat model for us to follow, I'm sure. It was pleasure to be here and bring my greetings from Arogya Bharati, a nationwide organization which thinks about, not about the disease. Probably doctor means only disease, no. We think about promotive and preventive health so that the individual become healthy, then the family, then the society, then the nation, and Modi ji kehte Vishwa Guru. That is the mission of Arogya Bharati. So when I was called here, I am here, let me tell you, as a proponent and critic also. Being a teacher, I can't say everything good about everything. It is very necessary to point out the shortfalls. Then only I think we can progress. Just talking good about everything will not suffice. So my time starts now. 20 minutes. Okay. Just to know, how many of you in the crowd are from the non-medical background? May I know? Oh, many of you. So I talk less about science and more about public health. Just to make you aware, because you are all enlightened citizens of India. So what is the current status? Look at the healthcare system in India. As we know, very meager amount is being spent on the health in India compared to, let's look at the Germany, China, our counterpart. So the health is mainly in the private sector. Obviously, Modi ji has started National Digital Health Mission, Atmanirbhar Bharat, Ayushman Yojana. But still it's a long way to go for this. Doctors, you know, every month you will see new medical colleges have come up. Seats are increasing. Professionals are increasing. So why so many doctors, and even Ahmedabad, I know so many hospitals like in the last 1 decade, I'm sure all of you must be aware. So if the doctors are increasing, do we need the hospitals then? Something is going wrong in the system. Hospitals means, I don't know whether patient become sick or sick patient, hospital may make them sick. I don't know, very difficult to say. It is being said jokingly, yes, hospitals are needed. Just to know what is a modern medicine will be today and in tomorrow. A short video of robotics you must have heard. How it works. It works in orthopedics, it works in my field of urology, oncology, everywhere. Very precise way of doing an operation and sending the patient home in a very short while with excellent results. So it has changed the scenario. This is very interesting. This is in China. This is an eye nurse. So now you won't be seeing the nice looking girls in the hospitals, you will be seeing these nice looking robots serving you. This is a robot nurse. See. We are getting organ printing. Ready-made organs will be coming in next a decade or so. Ready-made kidney, ready-made heart, you order it on Amazon, you will get the kidney next day. I mean, that's the situation. I'm not joking. What you think today is a joke becomes a reality tomorrow. So looking at this, do you really feel we need any other healthcare system? I don't know how many of you will say yes or no. Can I have a count? Why? When you say yes or no? Right, sir. So it's a new perspective in the healthcare system because we talk about only diseases. Lifestyle, I did not tell you. Everybody, every family, every children has got these problems. We don't know the answer. Starting from mobile to pizzas to burgers. And I'm sure same thing in Maharashtra, Gujarat, all over the world. Patients are not happy, I'm sure. Since there are a lot of non-medical people are, they are not very happy with the doctors. They don't have any choice that they go to the doctor, I'm sure. Not that relationship of the family physician, that fatherly touch was not there. So what is the solution then? There has to be a solution. The solution is integration. Integration of the modern science, which has got the good of it, and the wisdom of our grandmother. That is the way forward. Let's look at this side very carefully. Yeah? This is a tsunami which is coming to, this is our real figures. Type 2 diabetes and pre-diabetics. Every 10th adult is diabetic, another 10th is pre-diabetic, and diabetics means kidney, heart, everything. Doctor say bill bharna hai bas aapko aur kuch karna nahi hai. Hypertension. I am sure I used to practice 40 years back, I hardly used to say diabetes and hypertension. Now I have to find out a patient without having diabetes and hypertension. वो बोला दवाई लेता है, कुछ दवाई नहीं, कुछ नहीं, हाँ BP है, diabetes चलता है. We don't realize how sick we have become. The pollution, the respiratory diseases, and last but not the least is the cancer. We have become a capital of cancer disease in the globe. What is the risk? 1 in 10 Indians will develop a cancer, and 1 in 15 unfortunately will die from cancer. This is the reality, and that is the reason we have to look for something different. Just not removing cancer by robotic surgery doesn't mean the solution. It's a disease. This is just a write-up in our local paper, liver, fatty liver, you must have read. You know, all of us, I'm sure, when you go to the doctor, hey, you got a fatty liver. Doctor बोलते कुछ नहीं है, डरा मत, सब ठीक है. It's not ठीक है. Diabetes. It's like a tsunami which is coming, and we are not realizing, we are accepting it as it is because we find there is no solution. Solution is taking anti-diabetics. Solution is taking some cholesterol reducing medicines. Solution is taking some antihypertensives. And look at the increase. It is a phenomenon. It is not the arithmetic. Let me tell you, it is geometric increase in the diseases. I always say the good physician treats the disease. If I want to be a great physician, I must treat the patient and the disease also. So today's system is to treat the disease only. खड़ा निकाल दिया, urologist बोला चलो अभी घर जाओ कुछ नहीं है. But do you know pain? He should not be the disease. Again, I'm just as a urologist, I'm giving an example. It happens to every person. Angioplasty हो गया, bypass हो गया, सब ठीक है. बाद में क्या करोगे? And that is where you have to do the integration of the systems. This is what I define. Integrative medicine is a patient-centered. Today it is a pathy-centered. I mean, Ayurveda वाला बोला मैं आयुर्वेदिक हूँ, होम्योपैथी वाला मैं होम्योपैथी वाला हूँ, naturopathy हूँ, मैं cardiologist हूँ, cancer specialist हूँ. They talk only about the diseases. They don't talk about the patients and his problems. The system has to be patient-centric, need to be changed completely, and it has to be a holistic model. So what is integrative medicine? It combines the conventional treatment with the most important statement I am making, conventional treatments with scientifically proven complementary therapies. This is the most important word, mark me. Just not being a traditional doesn't mean it is right or wrong. It has to be scientifically proven as well. It has to be holistic, because we talk about mind, body, spirit and community. That is the definition of WHO. It is not only the body. The mind has to be good. You should be spiritually good. Then only you will become healthy person. It is not only the disease. It has to be mentioned, as I said, evidence-based. And it should be focused on health, not on the disease. So looking back to our culture, we had reached heritage of healing. A legacy goes back to more than 5 to 6,000 years back, and it is still working. That means it is working. That's why it is there today. And not only that, it is in our culture also. अब घर पे देखोगे तो आयुर्वेद आपके किचन में भी रहता है. आपकी दादी बोलेगी यार ये खाओ वो खाओ. This is our system of Ayurveda. Now this is plastic surgery technique developed by Shushruth. How many years back? 6,000 years BC. And those flaps of nose reconstruction are still valid in today's life. So that was a great people then. It was Sushruta. Some of his instruments are still, and modern instruments are still based on this. This we say this was. What is today? That also, that is the way I am coming. I propose about Ayurveda. Now I will become a critic. Is Ayurveda science? A big question. I am not talking about Ahmedabad. When I go to a global platform, this question is asked. Or is it a pseudoscience? No, it's a science. It's a proven science. And that's the reason it is alive today. But what happened? We did not revisit Ayurveda on present validation of scientific evidence. That's the biggest mistake we made, and we keep on talking like my father was big, my grandfather was Jamindar, forefathers were big. But we do not know what is today's situation. So it is need to revisit Ayurveda today on evidence-based medicine. There are a couple of things. A few minutes back I talked about China. It has become a traditional Chinese medicine, accepted even in US. What happened to India? We talk about research. Sir ने अभी बोला, commitment. There is no commitment from our side. We are never committed. We are always jugaad people. कुछ तो कुछ करके लगा देना है. So when we do research, there are a lot of gaps. Our protocols are not scientific. Our publications are, I did not say, so many publications are not worthwhile printing also. Things have changed. Secondly, our medicines. ओ जैसा सर ने कहा, वो आयुर्वेद की दवा ले ली, उसमें कुछ एडल्ट्रेशन मिल गया. हम डरते हैं ना, आपका डॉक्टर बोलेगा ये दवा मत ले लो, इसमें मर्क्यूरी है, आपका किडनी खराब हो जाएगा. That is not because of Ayurveda. It is because of the poor standardization of that product. Ayurveda has said you make this product this way, but if you don't make it, it is bound to give side effects. And this is what has happened, unfortunately. We could not standardize. Obviously, Raghu sir is here. Things are changing, but it's a long way to go. It cannot happen overnight. China has started working 70 years back, and I think we are just 10 years old on this background. Hardly, I think. So a big way to go to prove this. Publication, I said, because anywhere, if you say something in medical science, my results are like this, they should be publicly printed and accepted by your peers, by good journals. Then it is accepted as a scientific evidence, not by my friends saying, yes, it is good. No. So publications on a very good scientific basis are very important, and unfortunately, we did not do it, and that is the that is the reason our research has become weak, and I am sure this applies to all the fields. Why only medicine? Research in India is zero. You take anything, we want to copy everything. We don't want to do anything on our own, and that is one of the reasons we are lacking behind. Look at Israel, a small country has gone so well because of research only, no? So this we haven't understood. जो मिलता है उससे चला देना है. No, that is not the way to go, at least in medicine. What is the future? Future is not Ayurveda versus medicine. This fight keeps on happening. No. Ayurveda and medicines is the evidence-based integrative medicine where each system will contribute its strength for better patient care. And I feel healthcare is for the patient, not for the doctors. That is what I strongly feel. So what it needs is a study of Ayurveda involving modern physicians, Vaidyas, what are known as randomized trials, a real based trial, without losing the essence of Ayurveda, but at the same time, the applying all possible scientific tests of the modern medicine, and that is the way by which we can bring our ancient science to the today's modern level. Very quickly I go. As a small man, we conducted couple of integrative research trials. See, I tell you what we have done. Being a urologist, I always feel there are certain things are not able to, modern medicine cannot handle them. So we thought probably what we can do is we can use the traditional sciences, and as per the modern medicine we conducted few trials and we were successful in that. So for any trial or any journey, as you know, when you want to go home, you should know the destination, where you have to go. That is the first thing. Anywhere. For any research, for any, even in management also, you should know what is ultimately your aim of your research. So destination should be known, and then only one should start the journey, not blindly. घर से निकला है बंदा, कहाँ जा मालूम नहीं है. You should know where I have to reach. So there are, as I mentioned just now, a lot of things cannot be handled by the modern medicine. That is where the traditional science will come in a big way, either as a primary treatment or as a complementary treatment. So these are the problems. These are a lot of scientific terms. I wouldn't go into details, but there are certain things has been spoken a lot about it. There are a lot of lacunae in research in traditional medicines. Fortunately, we are trying to bridging these gaps now. So a scientific study of a herbal medicine, and at the same time you should have a backbone of modern scientific test. So these are, I need not go to that. Interestingly I'll tell you how it is being done, just for your out of interest, how medicine is done. You will select some plant from the Ayurveda, we look at the references where it is acting. Then we do the confirmation, the same thing. Then we do the authentication, and then we take out that extract, chemical from that particular plant. We standardize it because every batch must have same amount of concentration of that product. Earlier we used to do animal studies. First you give to the rats or mice to prove that it is safe. And then you do the efficacy. Then you do the human trials. You publish them. If possible, patent them. And most importantly, they should be useful for the patient. Because any research must see the day of the light for the patient point of view. Only publishing a paper doesn't mean anything to me, because ultimately everything is for the society. This is for the stone, this is that, don't look at this, this is the standardization. This is just too interesting how we work on this. This is animal model. These are rats who we created the stones in them. And then we did some rat blood we took out, we did some scientific studies on that. Then we conducted the human trials, we presented internationally, we made publication, we got patent, Indian, US, Europe, and now we are using it in my own hospital. It's a modern hospital, but all patients of stones, they get this medicine along with the standard care. And there are more than 10,000 patients. It is very effective. I wouldn't say it will take out a stone of 2 centimeters. Please don't look from that angle. But whatever injury has taken place because of the stone can be recovered. It can prevent the recurrence. That is what we want. Another thing is, as sir has mentioned, Katoswar, a fibrosis, a main surgical problem. Wound healing doesn't place properly. So again, same protocol we followed, same standardization we followed. Then we did the rat studies. If you see, we have taken the rats, we make the wounds, we apply that medicine and confirm it is safe. Then we trial in humans. If you see that, how the wound heals very fast with this regenerative medicine. We publications, patent, European patent. We use more than 10,000 patients, and it is effective and affordable in various kinds of wounds. This is another thing, we did it in COVID, where we did all the tests. It turns out to be a good medicine to improve the immunity. And now we give to the patient as in post-operative care, as a immunoboosting care. Then patent, forget about this. Fatty liver, I just now mentioned, a common disease in our population. There is no medicine in modern allopathy. So this is we conducted a trial in non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, a very common problem of lifestyle diseases, and we have proven this medicine works. So again, we are doing all the scientific tests and proven that it is working. Prostate, you know, this is another problem of the senior citizens. There again we come out with the medicine, we used it. It is again being used in the patients. This is most important. I will take 1 minute of you. This is the trial which is to my mind very important trial in my life. This trial was conducted in type 2 diabetes patient having kidney disease, CKD. So what we did in one group, we give the standard modern medicine. Another group we did the Ayurvedic intervention, modern medicine and Basti. And we have shown that there is a significant improvement in the group which received the integrative medicine. I wouldn't say we stop the CKD, but we definitely reduce the progression of the CKD, because otherwise there is no treatment. Another thing, my PhD students are working on integrative approach. So it is a small step towards validation of Ayurveda and modern medicine using the integrative approach. There are a lot of future opportunities, and at the end of it, India gave Ayurveda to the world. India must now give the world scientifically validated Ayurveda to become an important pillar of evidence-based integrative healthcare system worldwide. Om Sahana Bhavatu. May all be become light. Namaste. Dhanyavad.
No, not correct. Thanks a lot, Dr. Patankar, and he has given us such a beautiful presentation on what all can be done, what has been done, and how scientifically everything, can be taken to the next level. We have the fourth expert here, Dr. Narendra Bhai Bhatt, who, as a matter of fact, is the inspiration behind this particular conclave and the morning round table. Dr. Narendra Bhatt does not require much introduction in the Ayurveda field. He has been a physician over 52 years of experience. He is an academician, he is a researcher, he is a clinician, and above all, he has worked in the corporate sector. He was the first Ayurvedic physician to become CEO of a company called Zandu Pharmaceuticals, when Zandu was at its peak. And then he has worked with a number of international and national firms, advising them in a variety of manners in the field of Ayurveda. He also has been a researcher from the very beginning. He established independent R&D centers and developed innovative research frameworks, including the matrix and EVA models for Ayurveda. He has been advisor to many organizations. He has been also the force behind many things the Government of India did in the days of Atal Bihari Ji Vajpayee, Ashok Vaidya Ji, and later. And he is still advising many academia as well as government departments on what all Ayurveda can do. And above all, let me tell you that he has penned all his, life work in a beautiful book called Research for Ayurveda. And let me tell you that he's a prolific writer. And when you go through his book, Research for Ayurveda, and you look at the references, look at, the kinds of condensed briefs of what all he has done, you'll be amazed. So before, I ask him to come to the podium and talk about his views on the subject, I would request experts on the dais, particularly Dr. V.M. Katoch, to unveil his life work, which is semi-autobiographical, Research for Ayurveda, very unique a title. So, Dr. Katoch, to present this book to the country. Yeah, I'll request Dr. Katoch to speak a few words about the book because he has gone through this.
Thank you, Dangaya ji और डॉक्टर भट्ट. पहले तो मैं धन्यवाद दूंगा इनको कि उन्होंने मुझे इनकी बुक रिव्यू करने के लिए मौका दिया. एक्चुअली वो जो इनके बारे में मैं पहले जानता था, उसे इस किताब के बाद बहुत और जान गया. आई थिंक ब्यूटी यह है कि उन्होंने अपनी जो सारी चीज़ें अपने लाइफ में की, ही हैज़ नॉट लॉस्ट देम एक्चुअली. तो जो इनके सारे चैप्टर्स हैं बुक के, उसमें या तो एब्स्ट्रैक्ट्स हैं जो कहीं इन्होंने प्रेजेंट किए, वो भी कोटेड हैं, पब्लिकेशंस कोटेड हैं. तो जो कुछ किताब है वो पूरी की पूरी बुक एविडेंस बेस्ड बुक है एक्चुअली. सो इट इज़ नॉट द ओपिनियन ऑफ समबॉडी और द डिस्क्रिप्शन बाय समबॉडी. और जो सेकंड चीज़ सेकंड या थर्ड लगी जो मुझे बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट लगी, वो इनका ये था कि आई थिंक ऑल द चैप्टर्स डू गिव यू लेसन एक्चुअली. जैसे जो इन्होंने झंडू के साथ किया, ड्रग को नीचे से लेकर ऊपर तक डेवलप किया और एंड प्रोडक्ट में बना दिया, वो एक सक्सेस स्टोरी है कि एक चीज़ परसू करते 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 आप वहाँ तक पहुँच सकते हो. दैट स्टिल द ड्रग इज स्टिल यूजफुल, दैट इज़ अ वंडरफुल. तो तो पार्किंसनिज्म से कहानी शुरू होती है, वो वाली बात एंड तक पहुंची. देन ही हैज ट्राइड टू टच मैनी थिंग्स, और शायद क्या हर किसी को उतना करना चाहिए या नहीं करना चाहिए, वो अपनी अलग राय हो सकती है. बेसिकली वो मुझे लगता है नहीं करना चाहिए. आदमी को कुछ सिलेक्टेड एरियाज लाइफ में चूज करने चाहिए, उनको एंड तक ले जाना चाहिए. पर इनकी जो एक आत्मा ने बेचैन आत्मा वाली कहानी है इनकी, ये इनकी जो सोल है, ही वांटेड टू डू मैनी थिंग्स. एक्चुअली ही सॉ द गैप्स. इनको लगा कि यार ये भी नहीं हो रहा है, ये भी नहीं हो रहा है, ये भी नहीं हो रहा है, ये भी नहीं हो रहा, तो मुझे करना चाहिए, कोई नहीं कर रहा तो मैं करता हूँ. आई थिंक नो दैट टेल्स कि देयर सो मच अनमेट नीड. बहुत सारी एरियाज हैं जिनमें कि लोगों ने इनोवेशन नहीं की. इन्होंने ट्राई की, एक लेवल तक तो ले गए ये, लेकिन एक आदमी का जीवन तो एक ही आदमी का जीवन है, वो कितनी चीज़ कर पाएगा. तो आई थिंक बट ही हैज़ फ्लैग्ड द इशूज. दोज आर लेसन्स फॉर पीपल, even for the new generation of people. I'm saying that this book needs to be read by most of the young people actually. उनको सबक मिलते हैं कि बहुत सारे एरिया हमने छोड़ रखे हैं. चलो इनके पास तो एक लाइफ थी, इन्होंने इसको भी ट्राई किया, उसको भी ट्राई किया, एक चीज़ को ऊपर तक पहुंचा दिया. सो दैट टेल्स, जो उन्होंने पहुंचा दिया, दैट टेल्स हिज कैपेसिटी, दैट टेल्स व्हाट द इंडस्ट्री कैन डू इफ दे वांट टू डू एक्चुअली. बाकी उन्होंने नहीं कोशिश की, वो उनकी कमज़ोरी है. पर वो एलोपैथिक इंडस्ट्री की भी रही है. एलोपैथिक इंडस्ट्री ने इंडिया में क्या किया है, अच्छी दवाइयाँ बना के मार्केट की, सिर्फ वही बात थी, लेकिन इनोवेशन तो नहीं कर पाए वो. अब लगे करने जाके एंड में. तो वो आयुर्वेदा के साथ भी वही है, दूसरे सिस्टम के साथ भी वही है. हमारी इंडस्ट्री धंधे वालों की ज़्यादा है रदर देन इनोवेशन वालों की, और उनके पास पैसा भी नहीं है, उतने संसाधन नहीं है, सब कमियाँ, उनके मजबूरियाँ भी है अपनी सारी. तीसरी बात जो निकली इनके चीज़, जो इनके ही हैज़ आइडेंटिफाई मोस्ट ऑफ दीज बॉटलनेक्स. इकोसिस्टम में क्या कमियां हैं एक्चुअली. दोज इकोसिस्टम में कमियां कुछ बहुत पहले से इन्होंने लिखनी शुरू कर दी. आज भी मेरे साथ बैठे हुए थे तो उन्होंने 81 वाली बात भी बताई, जो इनके किताब में भी मिलती है वो. तो ही हैज आइडेंटिफाइड मैनी ऑफ द प्रॉब्लम्स विच एग्जिस्ट, विच एल द इंडियन इकोसिस्टम. अनफॉर्चुनेटली दे आर ट्रू फॉर द अदर पैथीज, अदर साइंसेज ऑल्सो, बट दे वेरी मच ट्रू फॉर द आयुर्वेदा. तो वो जो इकोसिस्टम के अंदर बदलाव चाहिए, और प्रोसेसेस में बदलाव चाहिए, क्या मॉडल जो विल वर्क बेटर. he has lot of thought for that, for which he delivered talks here, there, internationally also. तो आई थिंक वो चिंतन का विषय है वो अगली पीढ़ी के लिए, क्योंकि वो अनफिनिश्ड एजेंडा है. अकेले ये नहीं कर पाएंगे, पर इन्होंने कम से कम सोचा. एक्चुअली आई थिंक दैट ही हैट्स ऑफ टू हिम, ही थॉट अबाउट देम, ही टॉक्ड अबाउट देम, ही पुट देम डाउन. तो ये किताब जो है कंपाइलेशन है पूरी, एक्चुअली पूरी एक लाइफ की जो बेचैन लाइफ है, रेस्टलेस है, ही वांट्स टू डू मैनी थिंग्स, ही हैज़ डन ऑल्सो, ही हैज़ शोन एग्जांपल्स, बट देन लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स आर टू बी डन नाउ. द न्यू पीपल एक्चुअली, द नेक्स्ट जनरेशन, क्योंकि देश नाउ बिलोंग्स टू देम एक्चुअली. हमारी पीढ़ी तो एक किस्म से जीवन की संध्या पे है, लेकिन आई थिंक हिज लाइफ इज ऑल्सो इन द ऑलमोस्ट सेम देयर. मे ही लिव लॉन्गर, बट point is, the new generation, the present generation has a lot of unfinished agenda if they really want to do what they want to do actually. क्योंकि वही मैं पहले बात कही कि हम सिस्टम को ब्लेम करके, इसको ब्लेम करके, उसको ब्लेम करके निकल नहीं सकते, क्योंकि संविधान भी हमारा यही कहता है, वी द पीपल ऑफ इंडिया. सो एक्चुअली वी आर द पीपल हु हैव टू मेक ए डिफरेंस. बट हैट्स ऑफ टू हिज, आई थिंक, contributions, and I think this book is something a must read actually. It is not a self glorification, it is not something about criticizing people, but he has reflected the issues. I think those are something lessons for everybody. So hats off to you sir, और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद कि आपने मुझे मौका दिया इसको रिव्यू करने का.
आनो भद्रः कृतो यन्तु विश्वतः. First of all, Dr. Kadoj, thank you very much for your kind words. you are one of the first to whom I sent the book. And when I forwarded, he said, I am going to take my own time because I am going to read it carefully. And then his review came, which I am waiting for right place to publish. 2 रिव्यूज़ ऑलरेडी पब्लिश हो चुके हैं. बुक की बात नहीं करनी है, लेकिन थोड़ा सा बात करना ज़रूरी है. सर, यदि आदमी बेचैन नहीं होगा तो संशोधक कैसे होगा? यदि कोई नई खोज नहीं है तो बेचैनी कहाँ से आएगी? और बेचैनी आएगी तो कुछ रास्ता निकलेगा, यही मैं सोच रहा हूँ. तो आपके जो भी कमेंट हैं मैंने बहुत ही पॉजिटिव लिए हैं, और मैं जानता हूँ कि आप पॉजिटिव ही थे उसके बारे में. नाउ लेट्स कम टू द सब्जेक्ट ऑफ टुडे. Accelerated subject, the word is not mine. It's from Dangaji. But when he mentioned about it in one of our meetings in Dr. Savde's cabin, it struck me. Why do we need acceleration? एक ही कारण है, irrespective of Ayurveda or medical sciences, the horizon of healthcare delivery and medical care is going to change drastically within the next 5 to 10 years. It's not going to affect only Ayurveda or modern medicine, it is going to affect every aspect of human life and society. Then I come to the next topic, and that is, why do we need research? When I entered research, actually I started doing my BSc when I was doing my Ayurvedic graduation. My only inquiry was that science kya hai? Many times when people say that what is scientific, abhi Dr. Patnankar ne baatcheet mein bola. So I have been having that idea, what is science? And in this book I have tried to say that science is nothing else but curiosity and objectivity. It is not a prerogative of a system. It is not a prerogative of an instrument. It is not a prerogative of a method or parameter. It's a method of systematic inquiry. Now, he also talked about, and we talked about, the issues related with research in this country and why innovations are not taking place. Because somewhere we have made research, which Pawan in the afternoon, and somewhere either some people told, it has become a job, an assignment, an activity, एक अर्थोपार्जन का साधन बन गया है. मैं क्रिटिक रहूँगा क्योंकि मेरी आदत है वो. When we talk about research, if you are looking at innovation, the innovation will not come unless there is a new hypothesis. If I want to do better than somebody else, or if I want to perform better than somebody else, or I want to have something better than somebody else, the necessity is of research because I know what to do about it. Coming back to accelerated, the way we are today, if now I'm coming to Ayurveda, if we don't do the right thing, Dr. Raghu, we are going to lose our knowledge base. In last 40 years, I have never used the word 4,000 years, 5,000 years, 5,000 for Ayurveda. I refuse to do that. Because to me that itself is evidence and I don't have to mention about it. But I call it as a knowledge-based system. Because I believe that Ayurveda is based on knowledge system which is based on your 5 senses. It is related with the human existence. Until human existence is that, the Ayurvedic principles will have to be looked into. It doesn't require evidence, doesn't require, and I'm not talking about scientific evidence, that of course I endorse. Now coming to methods. Now research brings change. What we were 10 years back, 20 years back, 70 years back, we will not be there tomorrow also. So if there is change, then change has to be in the perspective of the welfare and of the society. If that change has to be applicable as today, Today, if my child is facing a problem because of the overexposure to the mobile screen, then I need to adapt to that. It's as simple as that. But if that is to be converted into a challenge, then we have to look at the solutions for that. So challenge cannot be challenge for the sake of challenge. Challenge has to have an applicability also. We have to be related with the society and issues of the society. Why do we need Ayurveda? I have great regard for the science because I am considering myself as no less scientist than anybody else. But science has to have applicability and relevance. We always quote Einstein, but we have completely forgotten Einstein. If we look at the science, the way it grew, as we call it Occidental and Oriental, if you say Occidental, then it was based on the principles of philosophy, which started with Confucius, Aristotle, Plato, and then it came to the Greek philosophers. The logic was there. Science was based on logic, and Ayurveda is based on logic. The 4 humoral systems of Hippocrates were based on something which was called as Greek, and Greek methodologies had the origin in what we call as the ancient cultures. We don't know what went from where, but Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, Tibetan, Mongolian, all these systems have a lot of things in common. I, as a person research in hepatic disorders, I opted to look at Unani more because I do feel that Unani system has a better discussion about hepatic portal systems, and because they consider Rakta as a 4th dosha, 4th humor. At least about 300 to 400 plants have come from because the interaction in 10th and 11th century. We have to accept those realities. Many of our food items, which we call as Ayurvedic today, but our foods were based on the culture and the structure which we had. We have forgotten that from where we began. Now I come to the next level, and that is, if innovation is a way, then innovation has to be based on developing hypothesis. And what I have struggled from last 30, 40 years is that we have 2 different paradigms. But 2 different paradigms are always meant for the human being, and can I identify what is common between the 2? So my first effort when I was in 30s was to identify Rasa Dhatu. Many of Ayurvedic people are here, and plasma, modern people are here, to identify them as common embodiments, sir. And that is where we started with the identity, rheum and rheumatology. What was rheum? Because I didn't take RA as just a parameter of Ritchie index and a disease as described in arthritis book of McCarthy. But I went to the depth of what rheum is. It is also an exudate. Arm is also an exudate. Today we talk about microbiome and paths. It correlates with AMA, it correlates with rheumatology. We are looking at the microbiome pathways. How are we going to handle that? So unless a good scientist always tries to create an analogy, brings 2 things together so that we can compare it better there. This rigors of research, these are few examples which I will say today before I... Another is our approaches. Our biggest problem is our approaches, how to do research. The approach has to be on Ayurveda base, that is what I insist. My logic is simple. In a scientific meaning, will a scientist try to fit big into small or small into big? Is a scientific question. Will I try to put big into a small thing? Can I do that? Or will I do small into the big? What we have been doing last 70 years in the field of Ayurveda is trying to fit big into small. And that is why we have failed. And that's what I call as paradigm difference. What we need to do is identify those small things which can correlate with the big ones. Now I'm coming to integration. This is approach, now I'm coming to integration. I've interpreted the word integrative modalities in last five decades in different manners, but I'm now more than happy and have separated out in my own sense. But I use the word integrative modalities mainly for product development in the context of therapeutics and therapies. Whereas I use translational medicine in terms of validation. Because one goes from clinic to laboratory, other goes from substance, dravya, to the clinical efficacy. And the in-between part is the what we call as the mechanisms of action. Either it could be drug-driven or it could be human body mechanism. This is driven. Now this is where your two verticals emerge, and you should know how to create those bridges between those two verticals. And if this is what we can do, I think we'll be able to evolve the true translational modalities. One more point today, and that is 700 Ayurvedic institutes. Sir, Ayurvedic academic research has to be completely revamped. We are all aware about the problems of education, not only in Ayurveda, but all over the country in every aspect. But I am a person who believes in converting challenges into opportunities. I think this is the time when if Ministry of Ayush really gets activated, we can convert this challenge into an opportunity to ensure that the Ayurvedic education reforms becomes a totally new platform, which will be applicable to the new generation, which will be applicable for the new set of teachers, will create a new model, and we don't have to blindly following what is existing. I think we should have a vision to convert that and implement in maximum 2 to 3 years, and that is possible. And I'm telling this utmost responsibility, it is possible. We are struggling to adjust to the structures which are existing today. We are distributing funds and money without having any control over that. We are trying to create parameters and monitoring it in a blind manner without knowing how it is going to be implemented. As sir very like say, half of the time they are busy with filling the papers. Now I am coming to one more part, that is industry. I am a strong believer of industry. Not because industry gave me opportunities, but I believe that without privatization, nothing could be done. In any part of the world, in any history, give me one example where only government has been able to successful. Never. Privatization has to have, as I like his word, Shubhalabh approach. We should have a right approach of privatization, how to privatization, what to do and what not to do. We cannot just distribute funds through agencies. There has to be a national agenda of where you want to do, how you want to do, and where you want to go. Once that is defined, I think it will become very easier for us to put the money where the right place is. I think this is where industry role has to be encouraged. I have been part and parcel of industry. I bluntly tell them that 90% of our industrialists, with all due respect, have trade mentality. They are traders, not mentality. They are traders by nature. But I don't blame them because they are living in an ecosystem, so I don't blame them. But on the other hand, if we create an ecosystem where quality cannot come by forcing regulations, quality will not come. Quality will only happen by creating competitiveness. The moment you are in competition, the quality will improve. But you should know why you are competing. So competitiveness and industry are interrelated. In that case, it is our job as a profession, as a sector, to create opportunities where industry would like to come in and play with it. Today, it is happening in your healthcare delivery in Ayurveda. You are aware about it, sir. Last 15 years has seen maximum amount of investment in the private Ayurvedic clinics and restaurants all over the country. Am I right, sir? Because there is money and because they are delivering. Your parameters of Panchakarma centers are being evolved by them, and that is, I'm should be happy about it because we'll be doing more and more about it. So that's a very good example of what we can do about it. Last 1 or 2 points. We have to have our own method. we are always looking at duplicating models or imitating models. At least I can say, sitting here, at least I know about four or five people whom I have interacted, and I've been able to communicate with them. They have started using their Vata Pitta Kapha, and I have started using their language, and we are able to enjoy the communication. So one of the worst situations, or biggest challenge for integration, and I call it publicly, is language of communication. We don't have a language of communication between systems, between disciplines. I don't know how to talk with a pharmacologist or a modernist. Me and Dr. Patnagar might be sitting next to each other, we'll not be able to talk, but it has no meaning. But if we evolve a methodology of communication between two people, we need a language which is going to be talking about integration in the context of individuals. Otherwise, my piece will always be taken by somebody. In one of my lectures recently, I said, and you may or may not like, but if I see my 5 decades, when I joined, I was told that, oh, you should become a scientist. Okay, I did my BSc, MSc. They said, no, you should do research. I said, okay, I do research. 2nd decade. 3rd decade, no, it should be multidisciplinary. Oh, wonderful, I will do everything. Sir, you told me how many things I did. 4th, interdisciplinary, okay. Then 5th, translational. Every time so I'm not looking at you, Dr. Goyal, but a pharmacologist took over my part, a chemist took over my part, मेरा हैंड एक हाथ चला गया, दूसरा चला गया, मेरा पैर चला गया, मैं बच गया क्योंकि मैं आयुर्वेद वाला हूं, मेरे में आत्मा है. मैं केवल मेरा आत्मा या परमात्मा का संबंध नहीं होता तो टिक नहीं पाता था. मैं सोचता रहा कि मेरा यूनिवर्स है, उसमें से कोई चीज जा रहा है तो मुझे लाना है बायोकॉस्मोस्फीयर में. ये बड़े दर्द के साथ बता रहा हूं, लेकिन यही हकीकत है. और यदि इसे करना है तो हमें अलग तरीके से करना पड़ेगा, हमें अपनी खुद का रास्ता ढूंढना पड़ेगा. फ्यूचर, मेरे हिसाब से फ्यूचर, मैं एवर ऑप्टिमिस्टिक आदमी हूं. फ्यूचर प्रॉमिसिंग है. हमें होराइजन फिक्स करना पड़ेगा, अननोन नहीं, हमारा खुद का होराइजन फिक्स करना पड़ेगा. जो आयुर्वेद के, देखिए हर व्यक्ति आता है प्रिवेंटिव प्रमोटिव केयर. फिर मैं सोचता हूँ अश्वगंधा में कहाँ डालूँ, प्रिवेंटिव में डालूँ, प्रमोटिव में डालूँ कि क्यूरेटिव में डालूँ. मैंने दोनों का जवाब दे दिया सर. आप लोग साइंटिस्ट हैं, मैं समझ रहे मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ. अब अश्वगंधा वाला घी लूँ या अश्वगंधा को एंटी कैंसर समझ के विदाफिलिन अल्फा की बात करूँ कि केवल वेट गेन के लिए मैं अश्वगंधा का यूज करूँ. यही हालत हम लोगों ने हर चीज़ों में की है. मेरा ऐसा मानना है कि इस चीज़ों के हम बेसिक ध्यान रखना ज़रूरी है. वी शुड हैव वन सिंगल एजेंडा, अलाइन एंड लेट्स हैव डेवलप द मैकेनिज्म ऑफ अलायंसेस. मॉडर्न मेडिसिन भी उत्सुक है. जो रेजिस्टेंस आज से 10-15 साल पहले थी वो नहीं है. साइंटिस्ट ईगर है क्योंकि उनको नए रास्ते चाहिए. I'm able to talk with Professor Rakesh Rawal, I'm able to talk with Professor Rakesh Goyal, I'm able to talk with Dr. Gaurang Shah, and still I'm struggling today. Because यहाँ पे फार्माकोग्नोसी की बात हुई आज सुबह में. फार्माकोग्नोसी अभी ऑब्सोलीट हो गई. आगे क्या करेंगे? अभी रिवाइवल की बात चल रही है. इट बिकेम नेचुरल प्रोडक्ट केमिस्ट्री. अभी आगे जाके जब आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस आई तो अब क्या करेंगे? अब वो मेरा फ्यूचर है कि आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस का यदि सही तरीके से यूज मेडिकल केयर और हेल्थ केयर में करने का है तो आयुर्वेद आपके लिए सबसे बड़ा साधन हो सकता है. क्योंकि कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी में सिंप्लिसिटी से उसको इंटरप्रिट करना वो आयुर्वेद की क्षमता है. नहीं तो आप उस जंगल में चले जाएगा जिसमें एआई जो है वो इंटरप्रिट गलत कर लेगा और आप उससे डरते रहेंगे. पूरा मॉडर्न मेडिसिन गए गो 4 डिकेड से निकला है. मैं तो खाली पुस्तक पढ़ता हूँ. पहली बुक मैंने पढ़ी थी फाइनल डायग्नोसिस 76 में आर्थर एली की, बिफोर ही बिकेम ए फेमस राइटर. सेकंड वर्ड वाज ऑन इन सर्च ऑफ मॉडर्न हिपोक्रेटिस बाय रोजर बर्जर. एंड लास्ट आई रेड अबाउट 2022 2 books coming from Britain about false pharmacies and false medicine. 26 books are there in my library. There are more than 150 books world over. I don't want to get into all those details. I know the good and bad of it. On one hand, I'm happy that I'm able to find somebody with the help of science. If biotechnology would not have happened, I would not be talking with Professor Rakesh Rawal about the new pathways. I'm able to do that. 10 years, 15 years back, it was not possible. If today I'm talking about cancer cells, then I'm looking at it in a very different fashion. डायबिटीज हम लोग ढूंढ रहे हैं, लेकिन दोनों चीज अलग अलग है, दोनों बढ़ते जा रहे हैं. हमने सोचा कभी क्यों बढ़ता है. हिंदुस्तान की 90% आबादी एयर कंडीशंस में है. वी हैव कन्वर्टेड आवर लाइव्स इनटू पैकेज गुड्स. एंड व्हाट हैपेंस टू ए लिविंग ऑर्गेनिज्म. इवन आपके बैंगन जो है वो फ्रीज में रहेगा तो क्या होगा, आपकी बॉडी का क्या होता है वो सोच लीजिए. You fly from Mumbai to Delhi and then you get down at Delhi airport and rush to the toilet. Why your kidney is flushing out? I'm talking about biomedical or biochemical reactions. And if that cannot be identified as a part of prameha and not pancreatic thing, and if you can look at the suprarenal and adrenal axis, then you will be doing innovation, sir. I'm talking with utmost responsibility as a clinician because I have been always a clinician in my life. 1993 में सबसे पहले लीवर डिसीजेस को 7 में डिवाइड करने वाला मैं था. तभी लीवर इतना प्रोमिनेंट नहीं था. मैं कुछ इसलिए बातें कर दी ताकि मैं फ्यूचर के हिसाब से एक्सेलरेट करना है. 3 ही चीज जरूरी है सर. लैंग्वेज आइडेंटिफाई कीजिए. लेट्स इवॉल्व लैंग्वेज. लेट्स आइडेंटिफाई ऑब्जेक्टिव्स. एंड लेट्स एस्टैब्लिश अ नेटवर्क वेयर गवर्नमेंट हैज मोर रोल टू प्ले, ए कैटालिटिक रोल, a facilitator role, rather than getting involved. The biggest role government can do, sir, with your ministry is, let's debate this, create strong debates, and let's create the pathways. Money will automatically flow, either from private or public sources. And that's all what I want to say, and thank you very much for all of you being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bhatt, to describe your long journey, your vision, and obviously your forthright and frank views on what we should be doing. And with that, I would like to thank each of our stalwarts and expert speakers to come and share the dais and knowledge with all of us. We will now have a panel discussion, which will be conducted by Narendra Bhai. He will be inviting, say, various experts who would like to also express their views on the topic accelerating research for Ayurveda. And this panel discussion will be for around 50 minutes to 1 hour at the most. We'll see the time. And he will say moderate and he will modulate. And after that, we shall be having question answer. We'll try to finish by 6:65. I would request all the participants who had registered themselves to collect their certificate of attending this particular conclave, and also join us for refreshments on the ground floor. So after this particular conclave, we shall be having refreshments on the ground floor, and everybody is requested to join. So with that, I will be now requesting Narendra Bhai to take over and conduct the panel discussions. Thank you.
So good afternoon or evening, whatever we perceive it to be. We are only behind by about only by about 40 minutes or so. But we should try our best to make use of this particular process. The idea was to have these speeches followed by an expert panel which raises the issues with respect to the accelerated research, what should be done and what are the issues, and we should address them. And more than speeches, I wanted really to have an interaction between us and then to have question answer sessions. So with the liberty of all of you, I'm going to take little diversion now. We definitely will have an independent question answer session at the end. But some of the issues which we may raise now amongst us, If you have anybody to comment, if anybody has to comment or raise, let's do that. But let's not get into the nitty-gritties of mechanistic methods. Let us remain focused on accelerated research. So basically my suggestion is, can we debate on issues? But let's not debate on those issues which you are not in a position to offer a solution. Because issues are many. Issues are plenty. Issues from cultivation to finished product and packaging. Issues from Prakriti to Vikruti and whatnot. But let's look at the positive part of it. Which are the issues which you are facing and what are the solutions that we propose? It's not necessary you have to have evidence of that. I don't believe in that. Let's hypothesize. Let's suggest that these are possibilities. We may try, we may not succeed. Let's do that. Let's create more and more number of hypotheses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We should not worry about it. Okay? And that's the way dynamics will occur. So with this background, Ritesh, I'm going to target you. I tell you why. Because you are the youngest. And you sent me a mail yesterday with 51 slides.
Yes, sir.
On accelerated research for Ayurveda.
Yes, sir.
And I've gone through that. We'll talk about it separately.
Sure, sir.
According to you, which are the 3 top issues? Because in the morning also you talked.
Yes, sir.
And according to you, which are the 3 main issues? And you are coming from the background of Samhita.
Yes, sir.
Now, technically, Samhitas and that subject, as in Ayurveda, has to know more to do with knowledge base.
Yes, sir.
So, if knowledge base has to be protected, if the applicability of knowledge base has to be enhanced, and if there is a requirement, there is a necessity of converting knowledge into a relevant application in new context, according to you, what are the things that you do? 5 minutes.
So basically I need to talk about like what are the gaps that we need to address.
No problem.
Okay.
Offend nahi thato.
Okay.
આપણે બધા સાથે જ બેઠા છીએ.
Fine.
I have simple things. You are I concentrated on your background.
Yes.
So you are teaching Samhita Siddhant.
Yes, sir.
So in a way you are protector of the knowledge base
Yes.
in academics as well as in research.
Yes.
So if you are facing challenges which you must be doing your ethical committee and colleagues and they may be doing PhD presentations and MD presentations, what is it that comes to your mind as a teacher in knowledge base and what would you like to suggest? Yeah.
So the first thing, like whatever available in Samhita, sometimes we feel that it is not getting translated in policies, it is not getting translated in research. Because even UG students as well as PG students, they feel that, because now we are talking about like there shouldn't be any tall claims. But when we teach Samhita, sometimes it feels that whatever they have written, that is not getting translated into practice also. So whatever available in Samhitas, even the students are not able to see it in practice. So that is the biggest gap. The same is also applicable for research. Like we talk about that this science is maybe 5,000 years old. You say that, okay, it is already evidence, so you don't use that. But when it is 5,000 years old science, still we are struggling to prove it in the whatever we are talking about, like current research methodologies. That is the biggest gap I am feeling, that I am not able to convince my students that in 21st century that this can be proven either in the practice or in the research.
So I have a question. It's going to be dialogue.
Yes.
Somewhere are we failing to provide the contextual meaning of that or relevance?
Somehow.
Because relevance is always related with context.
Yes.
So are we failing to interpret the knowledge into contextual implications?
So we are able to interpret it. But when it comes to prove it in a scientific way, somewhere maybe we are not trained that much. Since morning you have been talking about integration. Because yes, we are trained in Samhitas, but I don't have the scientific knowledge that sir might be having that is required to put it like scientifically to prove those things. So until and unless a person from Ayurveda background, a person from modern background, a person from scientific background, we come together, we will not be able to prove what is written in Samhitas. So somewhere I feel that training was throughout in my academics as well as in my education, somewhere it was lacking.
Good. So here what is happening is that there is a perception in our minds, but this is now becoming a problem that there was a time when the Samhitas were interpreted in the right manner. Today we have lost the contact. Right?
Yes.
Contact and context both.
Yes.
And that can become one of the biggest loss in terms of interpreting Ayurvedic principles and creating the relevance.
Absolutely, sir.
Even if I go, forget about the basics, if I go to the only principles of Dravya, I'm talking not Dravya in big way, but Dravya in terms of plants and formulations, I think we are losing the context. Am I right today or not?
Yes.
Can you give me one example? Just whatever comes to your mind.
So, like,
Okay.
now
you take 2 minutes, I go to the next person.
Yeah, fine, please.
We can do that. We are having debate.
Sure.
Dr. Vaishnav, you have been heading you are working with the academic institute, you have been former principal. As a director who is training the PG teacher and leading the faculty, what are your biggest challenges that you come across? And in your opinion, what could be the solution which you may be implementing or you would like to do that?
Sir, so far as the challenges are concerned, it is the biggest problem for the students and teachers to select the particular problems, research problems. And what we believe that the fundamental principles of the Ayurveda is always a neglected part of the research work. So we are trying to focusing on the research of the fundamental principles of Ayurveda, even it may be of Rachana Sharir, it may be of Kriya Sharir, it may be of Dravya Gun, it may be of Rasashastra or any subject. So biggest challenge is us to make the students to prepare their mindset to work on the fundamental principles of Ayurveda, particularly for the research.
A simple question. I think two at least of you and several people are here are there from the academics of Ayurveda. How much percentage of the research which is undergoing in the postgraduate institutes of Ayurveda have the diagnoses which are driven by the Ayurvedic language and not by the modern language?
I think it is too poor percentage.
Excuse me?
Poor.
Now, I just wanted this group. I'm trying to sensitize you people. I always talk about clinical richness. The clinical richness will give you the true meaning of translation research, which people like, I will be talking with Professor Gaurang Shah or with, say, Professor Rawal in few minutes. But if we are losing the whole clinical insights of Ayurveda, how do you look at the translation research? If I cannot interpret, because I'm ready to accept that there is a limitation, that text has a limitation. But have we improvised on that? Or are we just adapting to the modern? I think most of the time we are adapting to modern. Now this is where the science and symptomology, what we used to call, I don't know how many of us, I'm trying to share with all of you. My excitement as a clinician came when I read the first book from the first 5 theses of Gujarat University, Lakshana Samprapti Ho Sambandh.
Samprapti Lakshani Ho Sambandh.
Jnani ji, right?
No, it was K. Sadaji Sharma.
Oh, sorry, yeah. Now, these are the hallmarks of basic research, where you try to interpret every sign or symptom also in a Samprapti. It is a possession of disease. If I interpret every symptom into a disease process, tell me, will it not be contributing tremendously to the biotechnology today? I'm looking at biological pathways. I'm looking at molecular mechanisms. If I look at molecular mechanisms and biological pathways, do I not to have a knowledge about this Lakshana Samprapti? And I give you one example. एक मिनट में तो नहीं कहूँ छू. We all interpret, sir has heard me, we all interpret virus infections. Whatever, sir, आपके सामने मैं बच्चा हूँ virus knowledge में, लेकिन the way I interpret viral infections in my simple way as a clinician is failure of the body to adapt to a situation. It could be at a different level, but basically there is a failure. And in most of, if not in all cases, in most of the cases, the manifestation is fever, jwara. See, pyrexia is the, most of the time, a necessary expression of an ailment. It's a failure of adaptivity of the body. Are we looking in the right manner for those diseases? And that is where, when you are looking, now I am looking from a researcher's point of view, if I am looking at antiviral drugs, my whole approach has to change. Now, sir, Professor Rawal, I know you and I was excited about a few things when I met you for the first time. And can you throw some light on how you got interested in Ayurveda and which are the points which you feel we need to explore critically in future, in coming days?
So if you say when I got interested, I think it was when my father was on deathbed. I was in a cancer research institute, served there for 26 years. He was having cancer. And in the last word he said, Tarathi પણ કાંઈ ના થયું ને. That means even if you are there for 25 years, you don't have any solution. So at that time it sparked that should I look for other pathies? Because as a scientist, I should not focus on only allopathic form of research. Because I was working in allopathic institution, GCRI. So that restricted me from working in other disciplines. So that sparked me that can we think of other pathies? So I read about homeopath, Ayurveda, and got interested and tried to know the basics and fundamentals. Then after talking to the experts in the field, possibly that inculcated more interest in me. So as Dr. Bhatt rightly said, we need a language to talk between or interdisciplinary people. Because if he only talks about Ayurveda, possibly it may not interest me at first instance unless I have opened up that. So if there is a common dialect which can be generated, so that will definitely initiate and inspire people on both sides. So there are some issues which we need to discuss. I think we have technologies to prove, but we should have the right problem statement. So when we sit together and discuss, we discuss many things which are on the perspective of Ayurveda and how modern science can correlate it. So we started correlating different terms in Ayurveda. Say he was telling about pyrexia. So in modern science, possibly pyrexia of known origin or pyrexia of unknown origin, but Ayurveda may have 18 different types of jwaras. So all those things we need to know as a basic scientist. And what are the ways to prove that? Right. So as I think there was discussion in the boardroom, so we have to develop some new models in which we can generate some proof of concept, but without losing the essence of Ayurveda. So are we going to validate the real Ayurvedic principles and formulations, or we are trying to validate pure phytochemicals which are currently available as OTC in the market? Both of them are different things. One is having a strict protocol, strict guideline, strict manufacturing process. Second one is a pure phytochemical derived from some plant with some claim which may or may not have been validated. So based on that, we have to design our experimentation and protocols, what the modern science believes.
Thank you. Professor Gaurang Shah, we have been fresh friends for last 2-3 years now. Yeah. And we are sitting next to each other in ASC. And I think about 2 months back, there was a gap and I came to Ahmedabad and then we were talking on hepatoid disorders models. He saw me and said, Arjay, tomari sathe baat karvi hai, we want to talk about it. And then for 45 minutes we were talking about Vata Pitta Kapha. And he was looking at about that model, sir. So I thought that he's excited and he's talking with me about the Prakruti in the context, how to analyze Prakruti in the context, in an experimental model. And then suddenly he said, નહીં આ નહીં, આપણે આપણા પ્રોડક્ટ માટે વિચાર કરું છું. And then it was, for me, it was like crossing a big barrier. Because when a pharmacologist comes and talks with me, he says that I want to extend an experimental model in a specific disease condition of liver. And then we work together to create a model where we may consider, and we may get a positive or negative result, we are not bothered about it. But we did consider the new models which could be given. So, sir, this is a good experience that I share with them. So, in your opinion, as a pharmacologist, what do you think? How can we accelerate this whole research modalities? See, the time is essence, and how can we do that?
See, when I first got introduced, my teacher is here, Dr. Goel, about pharmacology. The first thing when I heard about receptor from his mouth, it was something like a lock and key method. And that concept was so feeded into me for almost 2 decades, 3 decades. I even taught to the students. And suddenly when I got into some more interested into immunology and genetics and epigenetics and others, then I thought these receptor theories are not sufficient. They need something different. Though these are still relevant in the textbooks of pharmacology even today, they are not fitting the present requirement. And Ayurveda is beyond this. Because if we look at Prakriti or dosha, etc., probably we are looking at genetic differences, which are either permanently from the life or from the epigenetic changes which have been brought about by the environment. And now we know environment and genetics are so much tuned with each other that it is very difficult to differentiate between the two, because genetics affect environment, environment affects genetics. And this is what has been talked in Ayurveda. Now the question comes about the animal models, etc. All the animal models, all the standard textbooks we see, classical models of hepatoprotective animals, induce hepatotoxicity with chloroform, with some drugs, with something, damage the liver and try to give the drugs. So what we are considering is all animals will be having same type of damage and all drugs will be treating that damage equally. That is the basic philosophy we fit in, but Ayurveda says differently. That person with so and so prakriti will have a different effect, so and so prakriti will have a different effect. Now this model, this has to be implemented into the models. And how can we do it? So I'm not an expert in Ayurveda, but suppose if one particular prakriti, what we say about Vat, Pitta or Kapha, can we see that same thing in my animals, in my rats? Can I classify those animals based on their behaviors, etc., into Vat, Pitta, Kapha? If humans can have different behaviors, the rats can also have different behaviors. And can this be utilized for classifying the models, for making the stratifications in the models, and then see the effects? Probably I can solve better. Secondly, the biomarkers what we use, HbA1c or blood pressure, etc., does Ayurveda directly attack those parameters, HbA1c? It may be answer yes or even no. It may be indirectly affecting it. My biomarkers should be different. My looking at the disease should be different. And that's where the challenge comes now, that if I want to study in a preclinical models about this, I need to change the models. I need to see the things from a different perspective. That's what I can say on this.
Thank you. Before I come to you, Dr. Monica, because I want to finish this validation part. We started from validation. So, any more you want to say something more?
Sir, you are asking about dravya. Say for example, now you take amalki or haritaki. When we are talking about the classical properties, when we are diagnosing a disease, we are supposed to go through those properties, and if those properties are needed, then only we are supposed to use that medicine. But now what is happening in current research, we are basically more focused on the alkaloids. Then when the scholar is trying to work on any particular disease, he would go through all the internet material, he would like to find the alkaloids which are better for that particular disease. Then he would search those medicine, he would try to search the classical references, and then he would like to try to use that medicine. So somewhere the core concept of Ayurveda, that is the dravyas and their gunas, somewhere we miss that just for validation purpose. Because if I find that alkaloid specifically in that particular dravya, there is more possibility that I'll get more validation from a scientific community. If that is not there, then scientific community validation will not be that much. So that difference I can see with current generation when we are talking about when they are selecting the drugs for their researches.
Before I go to Dr. Monica, sorry.
Sir, I want to interrupt.
No, you ask me questions also.
No, I am not asking. I am just clarifying
this is what it is to me. Okay.
See, Ayurveda we believe that it is a science of life. And my mentor was saying to me that treat the man as a whole and give the drug as a whole. So what Dr. Ritesh says, that people are using the alkaloids or some contents of some quantity of a particular drug. But when we are trying to research and validating some specific drugs, we should try to use that drug as a whole and what part of the drug which is mentioned in the classics to use in the particular disease. So this is what my perception. If anybody wants to add anything, please.
That reminds me, because I would like to share my experiences with you. There was a time when I had maximum arguments with the organic chemists, when I was working in Zandu, beginning part, early phase in Zandu. My boss himself, whom I have dedicated this book, but he was a student of Wagner and Farnsworth. So he was from Munich. He believed in phytoconstituents. We had the base laboratory, but I and he always used to have some arguments on this. And then, when I was looking at when I started interacting with Dr. Janukar and group in KEM, then we started looking at Rasayana. And that the first chapter and the most prominent plant, which is the most important plant according to Rasayana, is Haritaki. And the most interesting thing which till today is that Haritaki has no non-strong phytoconstituents. They are tannins. And till today, to me it's a mystery. But now I think in coming days, as we go more towards biotechnology, microbiome, phenomena, and other approaches, I think we'll be able to find a solution to that. Because why would Haritaki will be given in 25, 30, 40 different ways? Why is it the drug of choice for the last part of digestive system and not the first part of digestive system? And if last part of digestive system is related with the complete your neurological complex, neuromuscular complex, then what kind of mechanism it is going to create? Are we going to redefine the whole process? And this is what excites me. The same Haritaki given with castor, and the same Haritaki given with salt, the same Haritaki given in other form is going to behave differently. Gujarat में Haritaki का extensive use हो रहा है. Now this is where we need to have integration of knowledges. I'm looking at anybody who is from pharmaceutics who has worked in the, because I was looking in my group for some pharmaceutics discussions, but I could not get anybody. Anybody who has worked in classical forms? Unfortunately, no. I really would. कौन? उसको मैं नहीं गिनता हूँ. आई टेल यू व्हाई, उसके मुंह पे बोलता हूँ, क्योंकि क्या है कि सी ही हैज वर्क फॉर ए स्पेसिफिक पर्पस. His work is related with the product development, not to address the fundamental approaches of the dosage form. Respect, you may contribute to it, because in my opinion, the 40 to 50 classical dosage forms have their own meaning. मेरे नज़दीक में लोग सभी जानते हैं, मेरा एग्जाम्पल बार बार मैं देता हूँ, but we are ready to pay $200 per bottle to a particular wine which is prepared in a California in a particular fashion. But I doubt whether there is any company in this country today which manufactures Ashawaris and Aris in the classical fashion. Last bastion which I was there, it was in Jandu 1993. When my objection was overruled, that was one of the reasons I left Jandu in that time. I don't mind telling in public, then I rejoined different thing. And Ayurveda Shala has been the epitome of that. I think they have also changed over to fermentation technology. My worry is not about technology. I want replies from scientists here. That why is it that when I use a asava, which is done with fermentation technology, half of my patients get acidity. They feel emesis. And I'm not able to use the quantity which I normally use of an asava. This is my clinical experience which tells me. This I have been struggling. This is one example. Anybody from clinical, I don't have much clinicians here. For clinical objectivity, anybody has tried from Ayurvedic background? अब पवन तू आ जा मैदान में. हाँ, यहाँ पे हम भाई वहीं से बात कर, वांदा नहीं है. You tell me, तुम्हारे जो स्टडीज हुए, उसमें तुमने क्लिनिकल ऑब्जेक्टिविटी आयुर्वेद के बेस के ऊपर कितने की, और कुछ 2-4 एग्जांपल दे दे.
400 क्लिनिकल
मैं 2-4 स्पेसिफिक डिसीज कंडीशंस
उसी की बता रहा हूँ.
मुझे ऑब्जेक्टिव बता दे.
ऑब्जेक्टिव्स की बता रहा हूँ.
ऑब्जेक्टिविटी.
हाँ जी, च्यवनप्राश में जो हम क्वाथ बनाते हैं, अभी तक हम फाइटो कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट्स की बात कर रहे हैं. आउट ऑफ 34 इंग्रेडिएंट्स 20 डजंट हैव एनी इम्पैक्ट इन द डिकॉक्शन. नंबर 1. पंचारिस्ट झंडू का बड़ा अच्छा प्रोडक्ट है. जितने इंग्रेडिएंट्स डल रहे हैं उनमें वाटर सॉल्यूबल कितने हैं, हम कौन सी ऑब्जेक्टिविटी चाहते हैं. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, जो क्लिनिशियन है वो रिसर्चर नहीं है, और जो रिसर्चर है वो क्लिनिशियन नहीं है. हमें यहाँ के बीच के गैप को भरना होगा. यदि हम एक्सिलरेट करना चाहते हैं रिसर्च को, तो हमको आरोग्य भारती हो, AMA हो या और कोई सी संस्था हो, हर शहर में कम से कम एक एक्सपर्ट ग्रुप बनाना होगा जो प्राइवेट डॉक्टर्स को CRF केवल दे दे. प्राइवेट डॉक्टर आपका एनालिसिस नहीं करेगा, प्राइवेट डॉक्टर आपकी रिपोर्ट नहीं बना सकेगा. हम कम से कम इतने पेशेंट देखे जा रहे हैं, रोरिंग प्रैक्टिशनर 10,000 हम सिलेक्ट कर लें इंडिया में, केवल रोरिंग प्रैक्टिशनर आउट ऑफ 7 lakhs. उन 10,000 पे फोकस करें, और 10,000 पे फोकस करके उनको केवल एक मंथली असिस्टेंस दे दें, क्वार्टरली असिस्टेंस दे दें कि भाई आप CRF भर के रखिए केवल, बाकी हम सब कुछ कर लेंगे. आप विश्वास मानिए कि आपका डेटा जनरेट भी होगा, एक्सेलरेट भी होगा. अभी हमारे डॉक्टर्स का, क्लिनिकल प्रैक्टिशनर्स का गुरु है आयुर्वेदिक कंपनियों का मेडिकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव. आई एम सॉरी टू से, जो भी आई एम सॉरी टू से विथ फोल्डेड हैंड्स, जो भी मेडिकल रिप्रेजेंटेटिव जाता है वो इतनी शानदार रिसर्च बताता है. क्यों? क्योंकि वो डॉक्टर को इम्प्रेस करने के लिए बनाई गई होती है. क्या उसको हम रिसर्च कह रहे हैं? और जो एक्चुअली बेसिक फंडामेंटल रिसर्च है वो कहीं खो गई. तो यदि एक्सिलरेट करना है, हमें डॉक्टर्स तक पहुंचना होगा. और वो डॉक्टर्स, आज हमारे यहाँ 500 आयुर्वेदिक कॉलेज हैं सर, 240 पेशेंट NCISM की बाध्यता है. हर कॉलेज उसका डेटा जनरेट करता है, पेशेंट हो या ना हो. इन चीज़ों को हमको गैप को कहीं ना कहीं भरना होगा, और कॉलेजेज भी वहाँ बनाने होंगे जहाँ ज़रूरत है. एक एक शहर में 22 कॉलेज देके हम कोई रिसर्च नहीं कर सकते, केवल बातें.
पवन डाइवर्ट नहीं होते. सॉरी, मेरा अधिकार है तुमको बोलना. फिर भी एक बात मैं बताना चाहता था जो यहाँ पे, एक एग्जांपल दे देता हूँ ताकि आप, मैं जो करना चाहता हूँ या कहना चाहता हूँ, यहाँ पे मेरे साथ कोई बोलने वाला नहीं है, इसलिए मुझे वो जिम्मेदारी लेनी पड़ती है. क्लिनिकल रिसर्च को हम लोग ने एक मैथोडोलॉजी और पैरामीटर्स बना दिए. आई फुल्ली रिस्पेक्ट बायोलॉजिकल इम्यूनोलॉजिकल क्राइटेरिया, देयर इज नो क्वेश्चन अबाउट इट. बट कैन वी मेक एफर्ट्स टू कन्वर्ट क्लिनिकल इनटू ऑब्जेक्टिव पैरामीटर्स? और मेरा कहाँ से शुरुआत हुई, कुछ लोग जानते हैं इसमें से, कि व्हेन आई वाज डूइंग माय एमडी, आई वाज इन अ व्हाट वी कॉल एज अ शुद्ध संस्था इन मुंबई. मैं शुद्ध आयुर्वेद जो वैद्य श्रीराम जी की जो मेरी मातृ संस्था है वहाँ पे था. और हमारे गुरुजी थे वासुदेव शास्त्री लाटा जी जो जामनगर के एचबीए थे. उन्हें सबसे बोला कि तू भ्रष्ट आदमी है, तू मॉडर्न वाली रिसर्च नहीं लाना तेरी एमडी में. सो दैट वाज द चैलेंज आई वाज गिवन. मैं क्यों बता रहा हूँ, इंटीग्रेशन कहाँ से शुरू हुआ सर, शायद आपने पढ़ा मेरी बुक में, मुझे पूरा डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं दिया है मैंने. तो मैंने तय किया कि आम बात है. फिर शुरुआत कहाँ से हुई, मैं थोड़ा 2 मिनट लूँगा आपका, कि मेरे गुरुजी थे वो, ही वॉज टीचर ऑल्सो एंड देन ही बिकम माई गाइड. बोला सर मेरे को ये आमवाद संदिग्धवाद जो शब्द है हमारे वहाँ, तो आप ओपीडी के अंदर तो हम कभी आमवाद बोलते हैं, कभी संदिग्धवाद बोलते हैं, कभी संधिवाद बोलते हैं, तो ये क्या है, तो मुझे उसमें जाना है. सो आई वांट टू इंक्वायर अबाउट इट. तो कुछ भी बोल दो, क्या फर्क पड़ता है? नहीं सर बहुत फर्क पड़ता है. आमवाद इज अ डिसीज विच इज डिस्क्राइब इन माधव निदान, द टेक्स्ट ऑफ डायग्नोस्टिक टेक्स्ट ऑफ आयुर्वेद. इट इज नॉट इन चरक और सुश्रुत और वागबर. Sushruta describes Sandigatvad specifically in 1.5 stanza. Not slok, 1.5 slok. The whole of rheumatoid arthritis is only 1.5 slok. And Vatarakta is described what was inflammatory uric acid oriented inflammatory disorder of knee is different, gouty arthritis. वो पूरा वातरक्त में जाता है. मैं थोड़ा आगे पीछे हो सकता हूँ, खाली आपको बता रहा हूँ. वैष्णव जी मेरे सामने क्रिटिकली देख रहे हैं इसलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ. तो व्हाट वी डिड इज दैट कि मैंने बोला सर ये फिर से करना है. देन आई सेड आई विल नॉट अलाउ यू. फॉर्चुनेटली उनके जो गुरु थे वैद्य सीपी शुक्ला, वैद्य बीपी नालाल, वो लोग हम लोग एक मीटिंग में साथ में बैठे थे, मेरे पिताजी भी साथ में. तो मैं बच्चा था तभी, तो मेरे बोला गुरुजी मुझे काम करना है. तो उन्होंने बोला सीपी शुक्ला को पूछ लिया. तो बोला नहीं, ही इज राइट, लेट हिम रेज दिस क्वेश्चन. वो लोग समझे कि मैं माधव निदान को चैलेंज कर रहा हूँ. व्याधि की एक व्याख्या, ये मैं आपको पॉइंट लेना चाहूँ, व्याधि की एक व्याख्या चरक में स्पष्ट रूप से लिखी हुई है. फिर मुझे मालूम पड़ा कि भेल संहिता में 4 प्रकार के आमवाद है. माधव में और योग रत्नाकर में एक ही टाइप का आमवाद खाली है, उसका कोई भेद नहीं. भेल संहिता इज डिस्क्राइबिंग 4 स्टेजेस बिकॉज डिपेंडिंग ऑन रूमेटिज्म विच कैन बी वेरिएबल सर अकॉर्डिंग टू मॉडर्न मेडिसिन ऑल्सो, डिपेंडिंग सीजन एंड एज. फिर मैंने देखा कि ये ऑब्जेक्टिविटी करना है तो क्या करें. तो मैंने जितने भी साइन एंड सिम्टम थे आयुर्वेद के हिसाब से, अग्नि होगा, मंदाग्नि होगा, कॉन्स्टिपेशन, जो भी है, सबको कन्वर्ट कर दिया ऑब्जेक्टिव में, पैरामीटर्स में. आई क्रिएटेड ऑल द ऑब्जेक्टिव क्लिनिकल पैरामीटर्स ऑफ दोज पेशेंट फॉर दोज पेशेंट्स. और मेरी थीसिस में ईएसआर भी नहीं था. आई डिड नॉट स्टडी इवन ईएसआर. पूरा क्लिनिकली ओरिएंटेड हुआ. थियोरेटिकल पूरा जो है वो मैंने चैलेंज किया और मैंने उसमें से रास्ता निकाला कि भाई क्या मेरे हिसाब से क्या है. वो नॉलेज मुझे जो काम आया आज, ये महत्व की चीज, वो जो 3 साल काम किया, तो अग्नि और आम की पूरी संकल्पना जो बोलते हैं वो मेरी पूरी डेप्थ में चला. 800 संस्कृत रेफरेंसेस है प्रिपेयर्ड लाइक एमएससी साइंटिस्ट टू क्रिएट कार्ड्स. 800 रेफरेंसेस फ्रॉम चरक, सुश्रुत, वाग्भट एंड भावप्रकाश टू क्रिएट चैप्टर्स ऑफ माई थीसिस. अब मैं आगे जा रहा हूँ. उसी वक्त आई वॉज एडवाइजर ऑफ आरएचएल, और जो हम द्रव्यात्मक की जो रिवर्स फार्माकोलॉजी की बात करते हैं, तो राजगोपाल ने मुझे बोला कि मुझे वोवरन चाहिए. तभी वोवरन नहीं आई थी, DMRD. इट वॉज अ न्यू डाइक्लोफेनेक. तो वी लुक्ड एट द 4 साइंसेस, 4 मेन टारगेट्स, एंड वी लुक्ड फॉर द होल फार्माकोपिया collected 975 formulations of Vatovyadi, reduced to 175, reduced to 35 plants, reduced to 11 plants, and prepared the product, and which was tried as a part of my MD thesis. It was also tried in Bhatia Hospital. Richards Hindustan paid 10,000 rupees for each of my patients. In those days, I am talking 1982, 84 के बीच में, including IgG, IM and IgM studies. Now this is what calls integration. मेरे लिए तो अलग हो गया, लेकिन दोनों को इंटरप्रेट करने की जो बात थी, मैं पूरी इम्यूनोलॉजी की पूरी व्याख्या में अलग तरीके से समझा. नाउ कमिंग टू फ्यू एग्जांपल्स. Now I want your help, madam. We talked about clinical part, we talked about the validation part. From a quality assurance and quality control point of view, what are the specific issues that you have come across as far as the Ayurvedic products are concerned? And according to you, what are the possible solutions? If you want to accelerate, we cannot allow this ambiguity to go on, right? You are equally sensitive to ambiguity. So in your opinion, what are the suggestions?
Hello. Basically, I am botanist. So always thinking of plant and its analysis, because when I was studying, that time my title, the MSc degree, with the subject research methodology and instrumentation. From that day onwards to till date, it is not left. And currently my position at public Ayush approved public testing laboratory, situated here only at Ahmedabad, Ultra Analytical Laboratories. In Gujarat, whenever we are getting first time license of like Ayush or the approval from the FDCA, so that number is the form 48. When the renewed is there, then we are getting the license of form 49. We had 48, time over, 49 we had, and currently e-Aushadhi is there, in which we have to like registered with the new. So we are only the laboratory in Gujarat with the form 49. So basically my subject and the quality and again instrumentation, so it is just like the combination of ancient with the modern, can say that. I am always using that word, that is why. 3 different topics I want to cover it. First one is the formulations. Second one is the quality testing, can say that the analysis. And the third one is what is the modernization. That means always everyone's like the aim or the it's there to sell out their products as per export, not only the domestic, I'm talking of export. So I'll start it with the first one. Combination will be there as a botanist, as an analyst, and as a quality point of view. The first one is there, formulations. Ayurveda already there. Just want to ask or raise one of the question. In a market, single ingredient products are also there. It is running because we are getting the analysis of it. Multi-ingredients products are also there. Now, because I am also associated, today also I am associated with the board of studies of few colleges and the universities. So as per that topic, when students have many like different ideas in their mind, innovative ideas are there. But when asking, says for example, last one of the meeting was there in a university. She wanted to make the melting paper. It is a very current product is there. Now, when I have seen it's like from the one of the market, that what it is, haldi powder with the combination of honey. We all know that haldi and honey, when we have like a problem, what we used to make it? Just make the oblate type of, semi-solid type of like the formulations, and we used to take. Today the time is there, the same formulation, but it is coming in melting paper form. Now my question is there, as a botanist I want to ask, individual data of haldi powder you can get. Individual data of honey you can, because we have like a different parameters. My question is there, when we are getting as two together in a form of avle, semi-solid, so is there any parameter? So can that, yes, it is there in as per the CCRS and API guidelines. It is. But the same similar type of effect wants to come with a modern way, that is this melting paper, which type of parameter I should follow? As an analyst, this is the point. So I have thought it is a melting only. So what I did, just made a solution 10% and finally analysis. So now you imagine when I am making the 10% solution, is it overlay parameter? No. Which I have to follow? Distillates or the water based one or parameter I have to follow. So the proper justification, I mean I am as an analyst, I am not just Like I'm not happy with that condition, these two. Similar way, so many new products are there. Says for example, herbal gummies. For different categories it is coming. It is there already in a market. Like then FR1 tablets, then sackets. Even when the quath is there, we used to make it, right? So quath or the decoction, now we are getting in a tea bags. Just have a warm water, just dip and have a take it. So these are the different types of new products are there. One more you want, it's under maybe that is a capsule lark. Capsule lark, what is it? Soft gel is there. In it you fill the liquid, whatever you want to fill it, either ghee or oil or any earth part, and the surrounding part of the capsule, that you just fill it with the locked type of capsules, right, with the powder. When you will take it, so both will be mixed automatically once, because both will be dissolved. So new and new, many types of like the products are coming. So its analytical parameters also must be there, or we should develop, one point. So sir, regarding with that, some type of this type of talk must be there for the quality. Okay, so this is the first one. In all this, again I want to come to somewhat negative shade part. We are getting pharma drugs adulteration in Ayurveda products. You know that many of नाम number के बिना के कोई पुड़िया पटिका पता नहीं, don't know, it is there in a market and coming, and के इससे लो घुटने का दर्द गायब हो जाएगा, diabetes control आ जाएगा, and you won't believe when we are analyzing literally through IPBP USP, which is the guideline of pharmacy, pharma products, through that means the HPLC only the instrument work. When we are getting in it, we are getting the percentage of the glimepiride drug, metformin drug, dapagliflozin drug. What is it? So
वो रिसर्च का पार्ट नहीं होगा, क्योंकि वो जो अनएथिकल पार्ट है उसको हम लोग, वो तो है फॉरेंसिक साइंसेस का इशू हो जाएगा.
Yes sir.
और आज हम लोग खाली रिसर्च की, मैं समझ रहा हूँ, लेकिन मैं क्या बता रहा हूँ कि लेट अस सी रिसर्च प्रोस्पेक्ट की बात क्या कर सकते हैं. So whereas I understand your concerns as a scientist when you are testing laboratory, but अभी मैं ये बोलूँ कि ये मॉडर्न साइंस की देन है, तो आप क्या बोलेंगे? मतलब इसलिए एक इशू हो जाएगा ना, तो अब उसकी हम चर्चा नहीं करते हैं. हम लोग क्या करते हैं कि आपने जो वो गमीज का एक एग्जांपल दिया, आपने हनी वाला जो लिंक्टस की बात की आपने,
formulations developed. Second come to the quality point, that is the analytical one. Sir, for the analytical already the very nicely CCR's guideline or the API guideline, parameters categories are given: physico-chemical, heavy metals, microbiology. These three are the compulsory to do of any of the products category. Now coming to the modernization, that is the third one. If we want to do the export of our product, so these three categories are enough? No. As per our Indian system wise, we are doing in domestic products, we are selling, that is all the true. But when we are doing the export of the same products, we should have few more parameters. According to the country wise, it is specified, but says for example, pesticide residue, compulsory. Aflatoxins, compulsory. Then product particulars, like if you have added, suppose you told ki here tulsi, haldi and ashwagandha is there, so then you should have the identification test of all these three herbs. So that can be done by the TLC or the HPTLC. So it is to be there. So according to the modernization, these parameters are also. For that also, sir, one more point. Pesticide residue, how many are there? If according to API we will do, then it will be 34 to 35 list is there. In domestic, as per IP guideline, if we'll follow, then there will be 232 parameters of the PR, pesticide residue. And nowadays, EU guideline, the very strict guideline as per international market way, so we'll be having total 510 parameters of only pesticide residues. So when we want to do our products export, these are the different criteria also has to be followed. So can say that as per to whenever we want to do some modernization, so we have to follow. We have 35 all list, but we can raise it according to the country wise ki how much still we can add as an analytical angle. And many of the products or with the botanical angle, even again I say that the interactions between these two or three, whatever plants are added, these references are not available. Sir, many talks already there today for the publications of the research article or any database, but it is not there. So interactions of these two plants can be given together or not. And if it is given, तो उसकी मात्रा कौन सी? In which what should be the quantity of it? So these are, sir, some challenges, some points.
Yes, in response to this, मैं सर आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूँ जिसमें आप इसका कुछ कंसिडरेशन दे सकते हैं. हम सभी ने आयुर्वेद क्लिनिक में कभी ना कभी काढ़ा पिया है कि नहीं पिया है? तो कुछ लोगों ने फ्रेश काढ़ा पिया होगा और कुछ लोगों ने पैक वाला काढ़ा भी पिया होगा. तो एज अ क्लिनिशियन सर और एज अ रिसर्चर ऑल्सो, महामंजिष्ठादि काढ़ा जो बहुत अच्छा रक्त शोधन करता है और लीवर पे काम करता है, हम ताज़ा काढ़ा बनाए या तो बॉटल वाला पैक काढ़ा ले, 4 अलग अलग कंपनी का, इन पांचों का रिसर्च करके इनमें से सबसे अच्छा मेरे पेशेंट के लिए कौन सा होगा ये मैं कैसे तय करूं, या आप कैसे तय करते हैं? राहुल सर.
So I think the best analytical way will be doing GCMS, LCMS to see what is lost in storage, first thing, and in which type of sachet it is stored, whether it is plastic storage, whether it is metallic, whether it is glass. So I think the stability assay need to be checked if we are really looking for a product which is to be used later. So that stability assessment is not done strictly throughout this. So quality control and quality assurance for each of these products need to be prepared. I think Dr. Katoj also rightly said that 82 plants or whatever which are majorly being used, we should have a complete dossier of that, starting from extraction and everything.
What sir is telling, that what 3 things comes to my mind. I know right now I will not ask you this question. We look at chromatography as a solution in everything. And my experience tells me that normally we use HPTLC when there is a fingerprinting. When isolation is that you are SPLC and then GCFS and other things also. Now, when I was representing one Indian government and I used to go to Holland a lot, I met one Chinese medicine importer from Belgium, and he brought me a book of Chinese medicine, pharmacopoeia, with A to Z done. And based on that, I came back in 2002. I was member of APC, and I proposed to them that why don't you interact with CAMAG, the main manufacturer. And it was possible because I did met the manager. And I said that, can we create a national network through CCRS where we sponsor the manufacture of CAMAG in India. Today we are 700 institutes. We are still importing at, I don't know, 32 lakhs rupees or more. This is 2002 I am talking. I said, can we create a distribution of all our 600 primary plants and create a network program, because in fingerprinting what you need is repetitive chromatograms. You need variation. So suppose if I am taking plant from 4 geographical regions, can I do it from different regions, and can I have the graphs, and can I create a data and can create a national data out there? I'm just giving a glimpse of what was there in my mind. And it was done by China. And today, so, Lord Sahab, imagine what would have happened. Because what we needed was that every company, every small company in Ayurveda or Unani cannot afford to have a HPTLC. So what we do is we compromise, and then all the problems come that she's talking about. It is the government's job as an administrator to see that, that through academic and research institute these are created. CSR and Ayush could have come together, and within 5 years they could have resolved all the 600 plants. Now, this is research and this is innovation, and we refuse to do that. We are looking at plant, you are talking about polyherbals. Now China is already handling for polyherbals. We were talking in the morning or yesterday, sir, aqueous extract. हमको नहीं मालूम aqueous extract, हम लोग खाने पे बात कर रहे थे कल, aqueous extract हमें नहीं मालूम है कैसे करना है. हम यहाँ पे मेरी इंडस्ट्री के कुछ 1-2 लोग होंगे, मेरे मित्र होंगे शायद पीछे, तो are we handling aqueous extract properly? एक ही टेक्नोलॉजी है, your whole drying technology has to be correlated with after extraction, and this is where we fail. सर आपसे हमारी बात हुई थी कि मालूम नहीं, ICMR में क्षार सूत्र हुआ, सर्जरी की बुक में चैप्टर आ गया, ICMR endorse the product of क्षार सूत्र. प्रोफेसर रंजित रॉय चौधरी बिफोर ही डाइड 2-3 years बिफोर दैट, ही से बट इसका प्रॉब्लम देखो सर इजी है, मैन्युफैक्चरिंग वैक्यूम में कीजिए ना. मतलब हम लोग सोच ही नहीं रहे इतने साल से. द क्षार सूत्र इज रिक्वायर्ड टू बी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इन अ वैक्यूम एनवायरमेंट. पैक इट and open it only when you are required to be utilized. And I am sorry to say, I was member of Secretary General of ADMA. I made this proposal, circulated, no one took that proposal till today. It was only matter of packaging under vacuum. Imagine how many practitioners are practicing Kshar Sutra in this country. तुमको ज़्यादा मालूम होगा, कितने होंगे? 4,000 ना? Now 4,000 लोग हलोच के 10 Kshar Sutra वापरते तो क्वांटिटी कितनी हुई? Even I gave them as a business opportunity, they are not ready to take it. क्योंकि अकेरसस अस्वंतर को एक क्षार को हम कैसे हैंडल करेंगे उसका इशू था उनको. बार्ली या अपमार को कैसे हैंडल करेंगे वो उनके व्यवस्था. क्या ये पागलपन है क्या? सर लास्ट अभी एग्जाम्पल हम लोग मैं थोड़ा ओपन कर रहा हूँ. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस, वी हैव अदर एक्सपर्ट्स आल्सो, प्रोफेसर गोयल इज देयर, अदर पीपल आर देयर. इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस प्लीज, आई मीन लेट्स लास्ट 20 मिनट्स वी स्पेंड ऑन दैट. या
बहुत सारे एडवाइजर्स है, एक्सपर्ट्स है, साइंटिस्ट है, एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर्स है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया से है. सर पॉइंट सिर्फ इतना ही है मेरी ओर से कि यहाँ पे जो अपना जीनेटिकल डिसऑर्डर के बारे में कटोचर साहब ने भी बताया, Down syndrome specially, because I am connected to more than 1,500 families. I am Dr. Shyamal Tanna, but by the way, I am a father of a Down syndrome child. My younger son is a Down syndrome. तो मुझे ये जानना था कि उसके रिलेटेड बहुत सारे, बिकॉज इसमें कोई अपने पास रिसर्च डेटाबेस नहीं है. कार्डियास्ट अपने को मिलेंगे, न्यूरोलॉजिस्ट मिलेंगे, वो पर्टिकुलर इश्यू वाले, बट अपना ये पर्टिकुलर डिसेबिलिटी जो है जीनेटिकल डिसऑर्डर की. माई सन इज़ अ 15-year-old, बट 15 months old वाले पेरेंट्स भी मुझे अभी अप्रोच करते हैं. बीइंग अ सीनियर, दो आई एम इन अ डिफरेंट इंडस्ट्री, बट स्टिल बिकॉज आई एम इन अ PhD इन कंप्यूटर साइंस. बट अभी इसमें मुझे थोड़ा और आगे रिसर्च करना है, या फिर इसके रिलेटेड कोई डेटाबेस मुझे जानना है कि बिकॉज कॉग्निटिव उनको इश्यू रहते हैं, बच्चों को स्पीच रिलेटेड इश्यू रहते हैं, ऑब्वियसली थोड़ा लर्निंग डिसेबिलिटी, स्लो लर्नर रहते हैं, तो उसके रिलेटेड मुझे कहाँ से वो गाइडेंस मिलेगा प्रूवन? तो क्या है कि एटलीस्ट आई विल ग्रैब दिस एंड देन आई कैन शेयर टू ऑल दोज पीपल हु आर नॉट रिसर्चर, यू नो, वुड लाइक टू नो मोर ऑन दिस, बिकॉज ऐसा कोई डॉक्टर फ्रेटर्निटी भी नहीं है, ऐसा कोई मेडिसिन भी नहीं है.
एनी क्लिनिशियन हु हैज सम एक्सपीरियंस इन दिस डाउन सिंड्रोम में आरोचे में, बट योर ओन एक्सपीरियंस यू हैव.
हेलो. सो एग्जैक्टली आप जो पूछ रहे हैं कि इसके ऊपर कोई ऐसा रिसर्च हुआ हो कि ये सेट ऑफ मेडिसिन्स ये कंडीशंस में इसके पूरे हो रहा है
इंप्रूवमेंट, बिकॉज दे आर अ स्लो लर्नर एकेडमिकली.
करेक्ट. ये स्पेक्ट्रम पूरा होता है, तो कौन से स्पेक्ट्रम में आता है उसके हिसाब से इतना डिटेल रिसर्च अभी तक वैसा हमारे ध्यान में नहीं है. तो ये इंडिविजुअली 1-to-1 चाइल्ड ही होता है. तो इसके लिए अगर कोई जानकारी मिलती है तो आपकी कॉन्टैक्ट डिटेल हमारे पास आप छोड़िएगा, विल डेफिनेटली गेट बैक टू यू. बट एक पर्टिकुलर सेट ऑफ मेडिसिन से इसमें इतना रिजल्ट मिलता है ऐसा कोई प्रूवन रिसर्च अभी नहीं है.
एक मेडिसिन चाहे और कोई ट्रीटमेंट या एनीथिंग. यस सर.
नीमंस में कई रिसर्चेज हुई है डाउन सिंड्रोम पे, एक बार आप जरूर वहां के डेटाबेस पे मिलिए.
कहां पे?
डॉक्टर
नीमांस. ओके.
नीमहंस, नेशनल इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेंटल हेल्थ एंड साइंसेस, नंबर 1. नंबर 2, कोयम्बटूर में एक मेंटल हॉस्पिटल है आयुर्वेद का, डॉक्टर पार्वती इज हेड ऑफ दैट, आई होप. यस. कोट्टकल में भी है और कोयम्बटूर में भी है, दोनों ही जगह है मेरे हिसाब से. हाँ, कोट्टकल में भी है. तो दोनों जगह आपको गाइडेंस बिल्कुल मिलेगी. ऐसा नहीं है कि वह उन पर रिसर्चेज नहीं हुई. पिछले 25 साल से मैंने मेमो प्लस की नीमहंस में रिसर्च कराई थी 30 साल पहले. तो वो नीमहंस के पास बढ़िया डेटाबेस है इनका दोनों का. डाउन सिंड्रोम का, ऑटिज्म का, दोनों का.
In short, there are possibilities and this could be persuaded. If you want to convert this into a research possibilities, you reach him or other people will see what to do about it. Even we have been discussing about 10 days back about mental disorders. So let's see what we can do.
Sir, I would like to have a 2-3 minutes on this subject. I am a naturopath by profession and practicing in Baroda, and we have a clinic of NeuroWave. We are working on such types of the mental challenges also. And recently we have been inducted a program which is called quantum bioresonance. It is a frequency based medicines, and particularly I would, hello sir, what question you have raised. So you can meet me and my colleague here. We have a equipment which diagnoses the real cause as well as it works on the activations of the neurons or the nerves which are damaging the autism types of the syndromes or the Down syndromes of the patient. So we are on the initial phase of second year of these observational studies, so we can contribute for the help of that types of the people. Now coming on my second main agenda, we are a Baroda based nanomedicine company. The sir which has rightly said that Ayurveda जहाँ 500 years back से या 5000 year back से हमको जो ज्ञान दे रहा है उसको आज के कंटेस्ट में कैसे लिया जा सके. So we have evolved some nanomedicines of the gold and silver particles and working on the different nanos of curcumin also. Now the challenge which we are facing is that this nanomedicines, we have taken a program from the USA University of Missouri. We have worked on the clinical trials also, animal trials outside India and some trials on the cancerous cell. We were able to register this product in Chennai in the name of the Swarn Bhasm and Rasayan Bhasm only. But there is no nomenclature or there is no pharmacopoeia where we can register it as a nanomedicine, because our portion is not a bhasma or our process is not a bhasma or rasayana. We have made it through the bioreactors, and these are the challenges which we are facing up to the level that where we have to register in Ayurveda or in the allopathy track. So I am looking for a competitive person. I think I will meet Dangache sir also about this process, that how we can register.
Yes.
But we have a subsequent data for the oral cancer to heal by the nano silver particles.
Yes, yes. So it's not part of Ayurved pharmacopoeia API, तो उसमें नहीं होगा, तो non Ayurved में ही जाना
पड़ेगा. We are
पड़ेगा.
doing it in Ayurveda. We have registered. We are manufacturing the commercial products in Ayurveda.
Under what category?
In the name of the permission we have taken as a Rasayana Bhasma, Swarna Bhasma and the...
This is not Bhasma. Anyway, it's something apart from this
see,
thing.
it is more a regulatory matter the way I see it.
It's more
But there are
regulatory.
two more.
But here Ayurveda can take a paradigm shift, that the process is of the same thing but through bioreactors.
What I suggest is that there is an ambiguity about regulation issues. Let's address it differently. Let's continue with our dialogue.
ये जगजीत सिंह का ये जो मैटर है वो जगजीत सिंह का होता है, बात निकलेगी तो दूर तलक जाएगी, इसको यहीं पे रोक देते हैं सर. आई वुड
मतलब मुझे भी मालूम है नैनो की चर्चा हम लोग 12-15 साल से कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मतलब वी आर नॉट डाउटिंग यू, बट दैट्स अ डिफरेंट प्रोसेस.
एडवाइस अबाउट दैट.
क्या होता है कि अभी हम लोग उसमें चर्चा नहीं करेंगे अभी.
नो, दिस इज नॉट अ फोरम.
सर देयर आर 3 पीपल आर हियर नाउ. सर आप बाद में आपका नंबर पर आऊँ. नहीं पहले उनको बात कर लेते.
I think I am completely odd man out. I worked in modern medicine research for almost 30 plus years, and after.
Can you introduce yourself?
I am not a physician.
Okay.
I am a postgraduate in both biostatistics and public health. So, I published almost 150 papers. Recently joined Ayurveda and trying to get accustomed with the nomenclature, what with cough right now. I have 2-3 issues. First thing is probably the issue of competency. So you want to do research, but which has a scientific rigor. Second thing is, even if you do good research, you have to present it properly. So how to write scientifically. Third, probably collaborations. And research in Ayurveda education and research in, you can say, quality improvement projects is, I found it non-existent. So your thoughts about, I'm a bit confused. Where should I start? Empowerment first, or like learn while you do it for the people? And where to focus? Quality improvement projects, medical education in Ayurveda, how to improve that, or pure Ayurveda, randomized control trials and observational studies. That's it.
I think you should stick to your expertise, which is as a biostatistician. Possibly many of us, whether it is modern science, whether it is Ayurvedic science, anyone who is dealing with any sort of trial will need your expertise. So don't try to divert your expertise. Yeah, you can definitely take experience or flavor of whatever type of studies you are dealing with, but your expertise is very unique, and now it is under extinction. Now people are doing through AI and all this, but a real biostatistician is a rare species.
Sir.
So good afternoon everybody.
अब यहीं पर ही वादा नहीं है.
मेरे मेंटर है टांगायत साहब, उनके आशीर्वाद लेना चाहता हूँ. मैं लेट था, मैं चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट हूँ और मेरे स्टाफ ने पिकनिक रखी थी. हम पढ़ते थे तब कस्टमर वॉज किंग, फिर एम्प्लॉयज़ आर किंग एंड टुडे ट्रेनीज आर सुपर किंग्स. तो मुझे उधर से लेट आना हुआ. मैं मेरा थोड़ा इंट्रोडक्शन देता हूँ. मैं लेमैन हूँ आप लोगों के बीच में, और मैं एक्सपर्ट हूँ कस्टमर की तरह. मैंने लेबोरेटरी भगवान की दया से आई क्रॉस 60 जस्ट नाउ. मैंने भगवान की दया से लेबोरेटरी पे जाके कभी मेरा खून नहीं दिया. बहुत महंगा है मेरा खून. अच्छा, आप लोग कितने लोग कम्बीफ्लाम यूज़ करते हो घर में? और कोई? गुड, खाली 2 ही है. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी सर. हम लोग व्रज यात्रा में जाते हैं, दिन का 12-15 किलोमीटर बच्चे सब चलते हैं. मेरे घर में स्ट्रिक्ट इंस्ट्रक्शन, शल्लकी खाओ गुफिक लैब्स की, नो कम्बीफ्लाम. आप ट्राई करें. आप सर साइंटिफिक और रिसर्च का कुछ बात कर रहे थे. आई एडवाइज और थोड़ा लाइटर में टॉम सॉयर का इंग्लिश लिटरेचर पढ़ना. अंग्रेज़ों ने कैसे खुद की दीवार एप्पल्स और मार्बल लेके रंगवाई थी हमसे. मॉन्सेंटो प्राइसिंग ऐसा करता है, इतने सारे खेडूत में 4-5 ही सुसाइड करते हैं. ज़्यादा करेंगे तो खेती करना लोग बंद कर देंगे, और कम करेंगे उनका प्रॉफिट कम हो जाएगा. ध्यानचंद की हॉकी का ध्यान रखना, जब गोल नहीं लगा तो हॉकी का पोल गलत लगा था. और डॉक्टर हनीमान, ये नॉलेज मेरा खाली 1 वीक पहले आया. देयर इज़ वन डॉक्टर हु इज़ नाउ इन कंस्ट्रक्शन इंडस्ट्री. उन्होंने बोला कि होम्योपैथी जो हुई, सर आपका जवाब होम्योपैथी में नैनो. बाय द वे, इन माय ओपिनियन, होम्योपैथी के जो डॉक्टर थे, होम्योपैथी डांगिया सर को मालूम होगा कि उनका सन, मुझे 1 वीक पहले पता चला कि बुखार में गुजर गए, एक्सपायर्ड, एंड ही वॉज एलोपैथी प्रैक्टिशनर. तब उन्होंने होम्योपैथी ढूंढी, कट फॉर कट, बाउंड फॉर बाउंड. आयुर्वेद और होम्योपैथी का कॉम्बो करो. और दूसरा होम्योपैथी में ये है, ही टोल्ड मी कि जर्मनी में इफ़ यू वांट टू बिकम ए होम्योपैथ यू हैव टू पास MBBS. ये मेरा ओरल इन्फॉर्मेशन है. अच्छा, मैं आप सब लोगों को, मेरा एक प्रोजेक्ट है, उसमें इनवाइट करता हूँ. जो भी कंट्रीब्यूट कर सके हम प्राइवेट लिमिटेड बना के करेंगे. जॉ लॉकिंग, जो तम्बाकू खाते हैं उनका जड़बा फिक्स हो जाता है, फाइब्रोसिस. फिर वो पाइप डाल के खाना खिलाते हैं, और वो टीवी में बड़ी बड़ी ऐड आती है कि टॉम्बैको मत खाओ. क्या है वो, नाना सुपारा समथिंग है ना. हाँ, तो मेरे पास ऑथेंटिक न्यूज़ है कि आयुर्वेद और हर्बल, आई डोंट नो द डिफरेंस, आयुर्वेद और हर्बल का कॉम्बिनेशन से यू कैन डू द रिवर्जन विच एलोपैथी मना करता है. इट इज़ नॉट रिवर्सिबल. यस सर, आई नीड योर ब्लेसिंग्स. मैंने ये बोल ही दिया. फिर ऐसा बायोलॉजिकल पेस्टिसाइड्स भी है विच इज़ वेरी सिमिलर टू एलोपैथी. So, thank you all of you. Thank you.
1 minute. Sir, you will be the last word. Goel sir, you will be the last word. Senior आदमी है.
Thank you sir. Very good evening everybody. Myself, Professor Dr. Narayan Shahne. I am working in the field of Ayurvedic urology since more than 2 decades. Regarding today's conclave, what I can see is, actually I am sorry but I was a bit late, I came from Delhi. The thing is, whenever we think of or discuss regarding the research in Ayurveda, that is mostly regarding the drug research, most of the time. Then next step is, like I can see the discussion, it could be either ethnobotany, the medicinal use of different plants, or it could be Ayurveda. So if it is Ayurveda, then it definitely it is not ethnobotany, that thing. Second thing, what I want to especially focus is, there should be a specific focus on clinical research regarding the procedures. There are many procedures including Panchakarma. There are many procedures which we are continuously doing. So even that part also must be focused. So I want your views all of your views regarding this procedural research in Ayurveda. Thank you.
I think Ayurveda believes in holistic healing, ahar, vihar, then chikitsa and all these procedures. So all these can be validated. So I can give my experience. Being a scientist, I was inquisitive enough to see whether Panchakarma really alters the gut microbiome or not. So I took my own stool microbiome before starting the therapy. Then I continued the whole process, got it done again, and I could see there is a prolific change in the gut microbiome. So those sort of evidence, if they are there, then each of these therapies can be definitely validated. What we need is just a mechanistic evidence.
I think your question was related to the clinical objectivity. And in my opinion, any systems, any procedures, I think there have been efforts in last 20-30 years about creating Panchakarma therapy and their setups. I'm sure they know about it. अब प्रयत्न करेंगे आपको मिल जाएगा, लेकिन उसमें एक थोड़ा नया डायमेंशन में लाना चाहता हूँ कि उसको एक मैकेनिकल बात करते हैं, उसके पहले उसको थेराप्यूटिक रिलेवेंस पे करना पड़ेगा. उसका थोड़ा जो अप्रोच है उसमें थोड़ा प्रोसीजरियल ऑब्जेक्टिविटी साथ में कंटेंट में आउटकम के साथ कोरिलेट करना पड़ेगा. ये एक अलग विषय है, लेकिन वो हो सकता है, इतना मैं आश्वासन दे सकता हूँ. इट इज़ पॉसिबल एंड वी शुड डू दैट. ओके, नाउ वन मोर. से आपके पीछे और है क्या?
I just quickly want to share 3 observations only because time is very short. Yeah, as far as the regulatory aspect is concerned, Ayurvedic medicines are of 2 types. One is Shuddha Ayurvedic and second is Ayurvedic proprietary medicine. 95% of the medicines I understand in this country are Ayurvedic proprietary medicines. And most of them are not very rationally designed, correct? And not the regulatory pathway is also very clear about the development of that. Most of the Ayurvedic proprietary medicines which are developed are also not based upon Ayurvedic principles of treatment, just they are based upon the reported pharmacological activity. So what should be the right correct therapeutic approach for the approval of the new Ayurvedic proprietary medicine? That is number 1. Second thing is we talked about the integral medicine, that some drugs were developed which were used for urolithiasis, other condition. So in our country, a very good product, very good category called phytopharmaceutical has been declared, which is a mix sort of between allopathy and the Ayurveda, where you can have a drug which is known, we can purify the extract, only isolate the 4 constituents, and that can be marketed as a modern system of medicine. It's a real integral approach, but hardly 1 or 2 companies have come out for this phytopharmaceutical products. So why is it that that's not coming in a big way? And last thing I want to say is that in modern science, any disease which is not understood is called autoimmune disease. About 90-100 diseases are there, and modern system doesn't have much to offer. So what really Ayurveda has to offer in that, and what kind of research can be taken for that?
सर, एज ए क्लिनिशियन एक बात मैं आपको शेयर करूंगा, मेरा एक्सपीरियंस. ऑटो इम्यून डिसऑर्डर मतलब घर का भेदी लंका डाय, ये कंडीशन होती है. सो आयुर्वेद में रसायन चिकित्सा उस पर बहुत अच्छा काम करती है, और उसमें सबसे पहले जो अभी डिस्कस हुआ अभया, जिसे हरितकी कहते हैं, उसका नाम ही एक अभया है जो मृत्यु के भय से आपको बचाती है. सो क्लिनिशियन कैन टेक कॉल ओवर दिस. और क्लासिकल और प्रोप्राइटरी की जो बात हुई, तो जब फार्मेसीज नहीं होती थी कुछ सदियों पहले, फिर भी वैद्य हुआ करते थे और वो चिकित्सा करते थे. अब कुछ कॉम्बिनेशंस रेडी हो करके, सो सिर्फ क्लिनिशियन का माइंड यूज ना हो और फार्मा के रिसर्च टीम का माइंड यूज हो, और उसकी भी क्लिनिकल वैलिडेशंस के बाद आज हमारा इंडिया में जितने भी स्टेट लाइसेंसिंग अथॉरिटीज़ है, दे आर डूइंग रियली गुड, आई वुड से दैट. मतलब ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई भी कॉम्बिनेशन, उसके रेफरेंसेस का वैलिडेशन भी उतना रहता है. और फिर ऐसा है कि मेलोडी खाओ खुद जान जाओ, जो फार्मा कंपनी कोई दवाई बनाएगी अगर वो क्लिनिशियन को देती है और अगर वो रिजल्ट नहीं देती तो वो अपने आप बैकआउट हो जाती है. एंड देयर इज, भारत स्वतंत्र हो चुका है, क्लासिकल मेडिसिन का भी यूज इजीली होता ही है, तो ऐसा जरूरी नहीं कि प्रोप्राइटरी का यूज हो, बट बोथ हैव देयर डिफरेंट रोल्स टू प्ले, एंड इट इज रियली हेल्पिंग द एंटायर fraternity. That's what my point is.
I think it's a very controversial subject in a way. We have created categories, but we will not discuss about it now.
Sir, I want to...
Sir, may I? Sorry.
I want to say something to Dr. Narayan. Because the procedural validation is started by the CCRAS in the Shalakya subject. And particularly Shalakya में जो क्रियाकल्प होते हैं उसका स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन करने का अभी शुरू किया है. और इट इज़ मल्टी सेंट्रिक प्रोजेक्ट और पूरे इंडिया में वो प्रोजेक्ट चल रहा है, तो प्रोसीजरल स्टैंडर्डाइजेशन के लिए आपको वो मिलेगा तो बाकी की बात आगे भी बढ़ सकती है उसमें। नो, वैलिडेशन एंड एसओपी बहुत कर रहे हो।
So what is your question? Hey, what is your question? They are available, you know, you only have to, these are easily available. Yeah. Madam. Yeah.
This is not a query, this is just for the house to know.
Sorry.
Sir, a very good evening to one and all. This is just for the house to know. See, I am nobody, as in I'm Dr. Shelly Mishra, I'm just a psychologist, nothing else. I think I do not know how many of them are there. So basically, when we talk about all these things now, Ayurveda, since it is in the ecosystem of India, as in it is integrated with it, and psychology, so as to say, has been very much Anglican. So in one of our researches, I'm a professor of psychology basically. So in one of the research scholar, just for the house to know, what she's doing is, what we follow is, one is ICD, that is what it is. The second one which we follow for psychology is DSM, Diagnostic and Statistical Manual. It is by the APA. Now since we have Ayurveda, the very much Indian, and psychology which is a bit Anglican, so what we have done in the research is, in the DSM, whatever is the diagnostic criteria is there. Supposingly schizophrenia, and supposingly, as he said, Down syndrome is there, or CP, cerebral palsy or something is there. So we have tried to draw a parallel between the two. Disorder है, exist करेगा, तो उसको हम और इसमें already है. So we have tried to draw a parallel. And one of my research scholars is doing this as a very small.
So you are giving this as a suggestion. This is a possibility.
That is what we are doing. A very small example. We say bhoot. What is the bhoot? So in that she has found that basically it's a microbe which leads to XYZ disorder. So that is what we are trying to do, or draw parallel between that. Now I'm nobody to.
No. I appreciate that. So in the morning we had some talk about it, that psychiatrist models and psychological models have a big role to play in creating objectivity of clinical parameters in Ayurveda.
That is there, and that is very Anglican.
Sir, now I think time is missing. Dr. Goel. Thank you, sir.
See, lot of discussions have already held, and we have come out of with some solutions like modification of clinical trial protocols or what policies as per the systems of medicine. Very important question, the answer which was given by Dr. Shah, or one of the discussion, what he talked about the receptor, earlier days, and afterwards the whole definition changed, whole concept changed. So pharmacology, we used to say that every year there is a change, and within 30 years we find that the drugs which we were talking, they are not even existing and they have been totally changed. Now my question remains that in Ayurveda, teaching or anything, has it occurred like this, that there have been changes in syllabus and all that?
Yes.
This is one, and how fast integrating that? Then another thing, Dr. Narendra Bhatt, we have already been talking for last over 2 years almost, maybe more than that, about the integration. Yes, it is very important, but the question remains that how to understand that communication, the language of Ayurveda and language of modern medicine. It has to come to some midway also. That is one thing. Is it possible?
We should have common objective, sir.
Yeah. Second thing is, I think you were asking me something related to pharmacy and then the pharmaceutics part. Yes, to me it is a big question that why, like when we talk of modern medicine and formulation, nano, lipo formulations and liposomal and all that have occurred. And I've seen that in Chinese, just liposomal formulation of Chinese medicine. in here, are we doing that? When we talk, there are several types of formulations in Ayurveda, do we have those standards for each and every type of formulation? Avle and all that. This is the big or to be suggestion. That's all. And lastly, about the doctor, you have told, Jayant had told about the phytopharmaceutical. See, this is totally a modern medicine, phytopharmaceutical. I was there in the committee for many years. I found that none could be approved because it is not related to any herbal, the Ayurveda formulation. This is purely on the modern phytopharmaceutical formulation only. That's what.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for giving this participative interactive session. I was very skeptical when I planned it, but I think fortunately it has turned out to be a good one. Thank you very much for your patience and for being with us. Sir, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bhatt and all the panelists. I would just like to add one small thing, which has not been covered, that the entire healthcare field is today being controlled by the insurance. And I am pleased to tell you that Government of India has asked IRDAI to include Ayush treatments for 100% reimbursement and many cases even cashless. So this is something which is going to be very, very good for the entire Ayush and the Ayurveda industry. So with very, very exciting and stimulating, the discussions that we had in the morning, and we had, before this, say the expert speakers' opinions. I'm really thrilled that this particular program, Accelerating Research for Ayurveda, has been a grand success, and it is all due to experts and stalwarts like Dr. Katoch, who has come from Jaipur, Dr. Patankar, who came from Pune, and Dr. Raghu, who came from Delhi, as well as Dr. Bhatt, who has come from Bombay, and to all of you who have taken the time to come and be present here, all the experts, AMA, and obviously Arogya Bharati, NYASA, LMCP, AIC, and ITF, all of them have contributed to this. So I really thank you for having taken the time off and being a part of this interesting journey. It's on the beginning. Please understand, it's a very complex subject. When we are talking about Ayurveda, we are talking about healthcare, it's a very complex field. There are multiple, I would say, complexities in this, multiple dimensions, but we are, I think, trying to find pragmatic, simple, sensible solutions which can benefit the people and which can be scaled up. Let me assure you that if we rethink about Ayurveda, if we think about homeopathy in a different light, without assuming that we have got a solution, we only can say that we can aid, we can help, or we can provide a kind of relief for our management. I think, we have a wonderful future. So thanks to AMA. Just, maybe two, announcements. One, when the people who have registered and have attended go out, the certificates are there right outside the door. And second, we have got refreshments, tea and coffee in the multipurpose hall on the ground floor. Please join us for that. Thank you very much.